Good morning, everyone. I would like to start this meeting of the Central Coast Regional District by acknowledging that we operate our services on the unceded ancestral territories of the Celtic, Wikinou, and Newhook people, as well as the Kitasoo, Hehes, and Algacho nations. We honor our relationship with these nations. This meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be made publicly available on our website. The meeting is called to order at 9:01 on May 28th, 2026. I'm going to do a quick roll call of attending directors in alphabetical order. We have Director Steve Emery representing Area A. Director, was that the sound of Director Hall joining? No, not yet. Okay, sorry. Myself, Jamie Kennedy, representing Area C, Director Lawrence Northeast, representing Area D, and today we have alternate Director Garrett Newkirk, representing Area E. Welcome, everybody. First off is the adoption of the agenda. I would like to amend the agenda by adding additional documents to item 15.4. That's the Bella Coola Ice Rink Association. We've got some visuals from them and discussion items to the UBCM meeting requests, item 6.5. Are there any, can I also add these other two now, or should I wait till the Ministry of Transport?
I think you can talk about those items. Those are just like specific topics for discussion.
Okay.
Within the one UBCM one, I don't think you need to add that.
Okay.
When that topic comes up, but we're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Any additional amendments?
No.
No. Okay. I'm looking for a mover to adopt the agenda as amended by Director Newkirk and a seconder, Director Emery. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay. Next we have the minutes for April 23rd. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or amendments for the April 2026 meeting minutes? Seeing none, can I get a mover to adopt those minutes or approve the minutes, I guess? Moved by Director Northeast and a seconder?
Yeah.
Oh, Director Newkirk, thank you very much. Further discussion? All in favor? Great. Next is the special meeting minutes. The meeting minutes from May 14th. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or amendments for those? Can I get a mover for the May 14th minutes? Moved by Director Newkirk. Oh, and seconded by Director Emery. Further discussion here? All in favor? Great. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Next we're moving on to executive reports. So I will go first and then we'll go in alphabetical order from there. I really had to cut my report down because I was away last meeting, and so I have a lot of updates, but I want to keep it brief. So first of all, I would like to thank Director Emery for chairing last meeting. Very much appreciated. And I would like to thank alternate Director Levesque for filling in for Area C during my absence. So yeah, lots going on since my last report back in March. I was not able to attend last meeting because I was at the MFA AGM. And at the MFA AGM, the long-standing chair, Malcolm Brody, retired after many, many years of service. So we elected a new chair. We elected Mayor Tom Dias, the mayor of Kelowna. So he's the new chair of the MFA. Prior to that meeting, our CAO, Curtis Slingerland, and I attended this Chair CAO forum, also in Victoria. Some really great conversations, lots of networking there from leaders around the province. One really positive outcome was we always talk about getting together as chairs outside of the conference, and that is starting to happen. So I'm really excited for our region to be able to lend our voice to a platform like that, because we have, a lot of rural areas, and a lot of us have the same challenges, and we can really use that voice, that platform, to kind of leverage our voice with the province. So also attended AVICC on that trip. And I want to congratulate Director Hall on being elected to the AVICC executive again. Earlier this month, Director Harstead, Director Northeast, and I met with, and our staff met with the Honorable Randine Neal, Minister of Water, Land, and Resource Stewardship. We had a great conversation, discussion about some of the major challenges facing our region. Challenges of operating small regional water systems while keeping them safe and affordable, the need for renewed wild-safe funding in Bella Coola, rural infrastructure, human-wildlife conflict concerns, and the reality of governance and emergency management in remote communities. Since that meeting, I did notice an advertisement for a Bella Coola Wild-Safe officer. So that was great news. It kind of made me feel like our voices are being heard, and to continue to speak to ministers about the challenges that we have here. This past weekend, I had a great meeting with a representative from the Bella Coola Ice Rink Association to discuss how CCRD can work alongside nonprofits. I'm looking forward to continuing those conversations and supporting recreation activities in the Valley. Lots going on. As I mentioned, one of the most memorable events for me this spring was the Run Coola event, which was the first of its kind, hopefully the first of an annual event with 5Ks, 10Ks, and 20K options. Really well attended, well organized, and really great community event. So I hope to participate again next year. Thanks to the organizers there, the Gens. It was really well done. This spring we also had the annual slow pitch tournaments, which were amazing. The track meets, super fun, lots of fun days and community events. So I won't go through every single thing, but it's lots going on right now, and makes me so proud to be part of this community. So I'm looking forward to attending our Outer Coast meeting next month in Ocean Falls. And thank you, Meg, for organizing all the logistics around that. It is no small feat what takes place around organizing herding cats. So it should be, I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be really wonderful. So thank you. And I'm going to pass it over to the executive report of our Area A Director, Director Steve Emery.
Yes, we went to the AVICC, which was another good networking opportunity. We also had the official signing of the NMCAR Marine Conservation Area for the Outer Coast and all the way into Bella Coola. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and make sure that people's voices are heard if they have issues with the zoning. That's going to be the next step, and that's going to be the part that defines what you cannot do in the conservation area itself. So fishing areas and logging areas and that kind of thing will be on the table, I guess. So we'll see what happens there. I guess the Outer Coast seems to be gearing up for FIFA and having their watch parties. So that's all getting planned. So that should be fun. Ocean Falls has a couple watch parties, I think, and Denny Island does as well. So, and other than that, we had a now I can't remember. Curtis might have to remind me, but it's a climate meeting they have every few weeks in the summer when it's forest fire season, to brief everyone on what's happening and as far as that goes, and hopefully I was able to advocate a little bit different means for forestry to calculate their rating system for the outer coast. We seem to be the only real forestry weather station is Hagensburg, which doesn't match what our weather is out here. So hopefully I'll have to follow up and see if they are going to be able to either establish a portable station out here for the summertime, or if they're able to use the Bella Bella Airport weather station to calculate their figures. We'll find out about that. And the only other thing that happened was I had a meeting with the TELUS's network, Northern Network manager, about trying to get improved cell service and establish cell service in Wickenow and Ocean Falls. So I guess I asked the right questions because they had to go away and ask their team for the answers. So we'll see what happens on that front.
That's great. Great. Thank you, Director Emery. Wonderful. Great report. Director Hall joined us?
He said he did message saying he's having car trouble and be with us shortly.
Okay. Sounds great. Director Northeast.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
I don't think I have anything to report, but it's good to see you all. And just noting that the clock is running out on my game. I only have a few meetings left, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for all of your hard work, your collegiality, your camaraderie, and a special nod to our CAO, who keeps our ship, running pretty smoothly, all things considered, and the excellent staff that we work with. And as I only have a few opportunities left to say this, I do want to say this. I've said it before, probably not as succinctly as I'm about to say it now. We have a beautiful valley and a beautiful coast, and you can't blame anybody for wanting to move here to work. And over my 16 years there, I know there have been a lot of people that come to the valley and to the coast to work and make a living, but they stay for the services, the recreation, the opportunities. And so as we move forward and try as hard as we can every single budget season to bring in a reasonable budget, we have to keep in mind that if we want people to stay, then we need to always be mindful of what services we can afford, services and opportunities we can provide. So thanks for the chance to say that again. Thank
you very much, Director Northeast. I know time is flying by, isn't it? Yep. And now we have alternate Director Newkirk.
Thank you. Not a lot to say. I'm filling in again here for Leslie as she's away for appointments.
Wonderful.
That's my short and brief report.
Well, thank you for being here. It's always great to have you at the table. Okay, so we will move right along to financial services. So first item is the SOFI report. Does anyone have any questions when it comes to the SOFI report? If we are ready to make a motion to approve and submit the SOFI, we can move ahead with that unless anyone has any questions. Was that I didn't see a hand, but I heard a noise. So I'm looking for the motion that the statement of financial information pursuant to the Financial Information Act for the year ended December 31st, 2025 be approved and submitted to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
Yep, I can do that.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Moved by Director Northeast, second by Director Emery. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Great. Any opposed? Okay, great. My favorite part, the administrative update. Mr. Schlingerling, can you run us through that part, please? And there was so much in my original report that I just had to, because yeah, you guys should take all the credit.
No. We're all on the same team doing good work. It's been a busy time for staff the last little bit. We've had everything from just trying to keep up with, this ties into some of the emergency management stuff. There's emergency communications tabletop exercise. We are doing an ESS refresher. This is kind of that pre-season stuff as we start to get into warmer weather. The corporate team has been quite busy. When we jump into finance, they're at the end of their really busy season. So they'll have gotten through the budget, they'll have gotten through the audit. They're now just wrapping up the final forms. So this has been quite an extensive, busy time for our finance team. So hats off to our CFO and her team. The operations team has also been busy. We've got a major service coming online. The pool has been, hasn't been open for 2 years, so we are trying very diligently to get all the pieces together, all the training happening. So hats off to the pool manager and the operations team who've been hard at work there. In regards to the Higgins water system, we've got some repairs that have been taking place, which is great. We're working with the nation in regards to the town site water storage reservoir, and that those conversations continue. In regards to the Bellicule Airport, we've gotten the on this agenda, you'll see there's a report in regards to awarding the contract for some of the engineering work and whatnot regarding the paving. So we've gotten a significant grant to repave the airport. So one of the reports on this agenda deals with that, but in the previous report, we're also going to start reaching around and seeing if there's some economies of scale we can create in paving opportunities for other organizations in the valley, as well as any other paving projects that can happen. Regarding the emergency management side, it's been quite busy. We're on the other end of some events, so this is kind of a bit of a lull. Let's hope that lull stays, but we are preparing as well for a very warm season, very warm fire season. When it comes to economic development, things have been going quite well. As Director Emery mentioned, we're getting a whole bunch of viewing parties organized across the whole region. So if you're in a community that's hosting one, please stop by. There is a desire for an AED, so that has been purchased through the FIFA Community Grant. And we've got some other training and events happening. So yeah, it has been a busy time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Questions on the admin report? So much
I just have
going on.
I just have a question about the AED. Have we made a decision about its setup, whether it'll be inside, outside, accessible, non-accessible? Where have we landed with that?
Right now, we've got it ordered. It hasn't been installed yet. I think if you can let me get back to you on the specifics of that, as that is kind of taking it piecemeal by piecemeal, but it has been ordered and it will be installed. Yeah, but let me confirm before I don't want to give you any inaccurate information.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Curtis.
The question?
A couple. In regards to Denny Island stuff, as I'm a bit out of the loop and was just trying to catch up with some of the stuff. If I could just get a little bit more info on where we're at with the feasibility study for the public wharf on Denny Island and cost, as well as a bit more clarification on Denny Island water.
So I can talk to both of those things. So with the feasibility study on the wharf, we've been still into the reach out stage with the HealthSec. So there was a initial reach out that happened a while ago, and we've gotten no response. So I reinitiated that with Urban Systems this week to try to keep the ball moving on that. So we're in that initiation stage. We are going to need to engage with the HealthSec. So that's the stage that we're at.
Yeah.
That when it comes to that First Nations engagement piece, sometimes that can take pick up the phone and get a quick answer and things moving, or it could take a few more months. So we're hoping to keep that moving. In regards to the Denny Island water, we've selected a contractor. The board has approved that. That was on the last agenda. So the water system is moving forward for construction.
And is that, like, it was quite a few meetings ago when we were talking about it. There was different levels
I
of
think
construction that I think Steve was gonna talk to the locals or something to see what their
that's,
concerns were.
we're past all that
Oh, yeah.
now. So I think if you don't mind, if I could just send you some of the reports.
Sure.
There's been kind of a evolution with different reports over
Yeah.
the last few meetings.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm.
Any other admin update questions? No? All right, great. Thank you very much for the report. Yeah, lots going on, busy. Next is the Bella Coola Community Context Report from BC Hydro. Is there anything that we'd like to discuss on this report? Or any questions? And it's yeah, just for information. I think we requested this report from BC Hydro. So good information there. Hearing no questions, I will move right along. This is, oh yes, oh boy. This brings us to a request for direction on updates to the remuneration bylaw. So I'm just going to open that in my screen. And this is, of course, our bylaw, but it is the bylaw like setting up the new board. So if there are changes that we want to be made as far as, you know, making this a desirable position, it comes with a, you know, a lot of glory, a lot of glamour. Kidding. But yeah, so does anybody want to suggest any changes, or would we like our corporate officer, Ms. Harding, to maybe give us a little overview, Ms. Harding, and yeah, then we can kind of decide where we're going to go with it.
So it is generally good practice to bring this forward prior to the election, and it sets the new board up on a good foundation so they know what they're going to receive, and also it's super transparent for everyone. So we have a few options. One being we can do just a quick poll on similar sized communities and find out what they have. This would be a very high level sort of travel, remuneration, and maybe a bit into the technology. See what other municipalities do and what they provide and what they don't. Or the board may decide that you want to go a little deeper and just have a more solid review done at this time, in particular with the election coming up. And in that case, we would look for a contractor to take care of that one. Or you may just decide that, no, it's good, it's working really well, let's not mess with it right now.
Questions, comments from the board, directions that we're leaning? I think as far as what I know, as far as other local governments, there are no other regional districts without a municipality on their board. So we are like quite unique, but I believe that as far as locally elected folks go, we are like pretty low on the scale of pay. But that is just from, you know, talking to people. One part that I think that is comparable is our travel remuneration policies. That seems to be quite good or fair compared to other regional districts, but perhaps we could look at, you know, comparable regional districts to get, yeah, an idea of what other directors are receiving. I think I saw a report a while ago that, you know, said that we were, you know, making like $500 per meeting, and that isn't really accurate because we get, you know, just that chunk for everything that we do, not just for attending this meeting, but everything throughout the month. So yeah, maybe it would be helpful to see what other regional districts are doing. What does the board think?
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. Maybe seeing what some of the other regional districts are doing and not going as far as like a deep dive
Yeah,
and hiring a contractor
yeah,
to get involved in that. Maybe just some staff time to kind of look into things, just kind of touching on a little bit on what Lawrence said, and then to deal with like, the financial report that's been sent off now, is that, just trying to keep things as low as we can for the public, keeping in mind that there are, fairly high staff expenses and consultant expenses that we should make sure we keep as low as we can.
Okay, thank you. Other questions or comments from the board?
That sounds reasonable to me. I'm ready to make that motion or ask Director Newkirk, alternate Director Newkirk to make that motion, and I'll second it.
Okay, but great. We're kind of going with number 1 there. Staff bring information to the board containing remuneration data from comparable local governments to aid in the review of remuneration bylaw number 536, 2024.
Yeah, I will make that motion.
Moved by Director Newkirk and seconded by Director Northeast. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, thanks, you guys. That is great. I'm just gonna move right along here and catch up in my agenda package. Okay, so next is the Outer Coast meeting. So this is request for direction 6.4, request on planned activities for the Outer Coast meeting. So would we like a scheduled event or organic interactions? I may kind of direct that question to Director Emery. What do you think our best options for our Outer Coast meeting would be, Director Emery?
As in meeting with the public?
Yeah, we've got kind of at least one evening that we could have some sort of event or, open house kind of style thing going on. What do you think the appetite would be like to meet with us for the community?
Yep, I think maybe and after even either before the meeting or after the meeting, public meeting would be, or public gathering would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yep.
I assume we're having the meeting at our regular meeting will be at their town hall or whatever, I guess. Bank, or not the bank building,
At the courthouse. Yeah.
courthouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that sounds great. So is that the motion? Do we need a motion for that, or?
Let's give you a clear fact.
Oh, okay, yep.
Ms. Harding, do we have what do we got? I just want to make sure
We have got that the Central Coast Regional District host a public gathering following the meeting being held on the Outer Coast on July 2nd, 2026.
That sounds great, because I think that the first we'll all be kind of tired. I mean, so I think the second would be good because we'll have a little more rest behind us. Okay. Does that sound good, Director Emery?
Sure.
Okay. So moved by Director Emery and a seconder.
Yep.
Seconded by Director Northeast. Further discussion? Yep. All in favor?
And maybe if we make it so it's a little bit after our meeting, and then kind of not say an hour or something, unless there's a pile of people show up.
Yeah, we'll have a little break. That sounds good.
Yeah, just there's no point sitting there for 5 hours if nobody's showing up. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's fair. Make it brief, short and sweet. That sounds great. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this one is the meeting, UBCM Minister Meetings 2026. So Director Hall has submitted a topic. That one is in the public agenda. And I see Director Hall has joined us. Director Hall, welcome. Good morning.
Hello, thanks. My whole layout of my Teams is different right now.
It
What
is.
is that?
I've been having problems with my laptop, like since I had it reset to factory. It's doing some strange things. So
Yeah, you're a bit muffled. I can't really hear you very well.
I'll try to move the microphone. How about that?
That's much better. Much better. Thank you. Perfect. Great. Would you like to speak to your minister meeting request?
Yeah, just wanting to get some support from them with regards to the kind of the emergency response hub or transportation hub. The people who utilize the airport and the wharf, which is kind of unsafe right now, where the airports land or where the airplane lands for the water is literally sinking, and the top of it's like peeling off. We did try to get some funds for that a while ago, but because we don't own that one, we don't own that finger dock, it didn't go through from what I'm hearing. So we just want to get some support for the emergency transportation hub. We help people on the water, we help people that come into the hospital, you know, the whole shebang, and then they're bedding back out. So the transportation up to the airport is really bad. You should see how slow the ambulances have to drive just because of all the potholes, and the fill was actually big logs, and those logs are rotting out now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the two things are the wharf and the airport improvement. This phase 2. Everyone else on the outer coast utilizes this whole service, so hoping to get some support for that.
Okay, great. So we would be sending oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I had to clear my throat.
Oh, okay, sorry. So we would be sending requests to the Indigenous Affairs Minister and the Minister of Transportation. Is that what we're looking at there? Yeah.
And Jennifer Rice sat with us last time, so maybe her the person who's there now could be invited as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, often we can't get Minister Davidson because she's also the Minister of the Environment. So she's got so many meetings as well. So she's just not quite as available as Minister Rice MLA Rice was. But yeah, she's been really supportive and a really great advocate. Ms. Harding, go ahead.
Hi, just if you could all please keep in mind that they have changed what we are able to do this year a little bit. So if you send a topic to one minister, you cannot double up and send it to another.
Okay.
So you can send 5 topics to one, but you can't send any of those topics to another one. We have to sort of be a little more concise on our requests.
So could one of them be under emergency response, and one will be infrastructure?
Yeah, sorry, Director Hall, we can't hear you very well.
I said, can one of them be for emergency response and the other one be for infrastructure? I just throwing it out there.
Which ones? Like you need to tell us like which and how you want them.
Yeah.
I guess just to the Indigenous. Who is the one for the Indigenous minister right now?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
I'm kerfuffled right now.
Is it no, it's not Minister Boyle. She's in.
We can absolutely fill in. If you tell us which ministry, we can always populate that name for you as well.
Spencer Herbert.
Yeah.
Okay. Spencer Herbert, Director Hall.
Okay. Just overall the one then, because it's all wrapped up into the one thing, right? Emergency transportation. So the wharf and the airport road and the phase 2. You think that would work?
But you have to focus on the wharf, though. You can't. We probably don't want to put all the problems together without focusing on one.
I think the one is the emergency transportation. I don't know. Just makes sense to me to put them together.
Okay. And to send that request to the Indigenous Affairs Minister.
Yes, please.
Ms. Harding, do you have the clarity that you need on that one?
So is it all being lumped together? Is that what we decided? Or are we splitting it into two?
Well, wouldn't it be the emergency transportation hub is my thought is that it's the whole thing. You can't improve one without the other.
So send it all to the Indigenous Affairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Director Newkirk?
Director Hall,
Yep.
I'm just trying to get clarification on exactly what you're trying to say. Maybe I can help out. So you're wanting them to look at the obviously the dock that's sinking. Is that the dock that's directly across from the fuel float in Bella Bella?
That's right, on the same side.
Yeah,
And
and
I also
so
want, go ahead.
so repairing that dock and then the route that the ambulance would take to the airport if somebody was injured is got a bunch of potholes on the road. Is that kind of what you're looking
Yeah,
at trying
the
to make
road is-
improvements at?
Yeah, definitely. It's in terrible shape. We did do letters of support for the two projects from CCRD, so I was just trying to get them in line with those two letters to Celtic Nation, Celtic Tribal Council.
Okay.
What do you think?
Ms. Harding, is that clear?
We can work with that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Wonderful. Okay. So we've got that one. The other ones, okay, comes to we quite a number of times, especially in the recent past, we've had challenges with as far as capacity goes and consultation and our capacity to conduct like deep, meaningful consultation with our Indigenous partners. But we often, struggle with the capacity, funding, clarity, policy, guidance, and like training resources. So sorry, this is a bit not quite formed, but I think what I'm looking for is like dedicated provincial funding streams for consultation of and relationship building and clarification of local government responsibilities under DRIPA and UNDRIP, so that we can conduct deep and meaningful consultation and meet our obligations. We also need mediation facilitation supports. Like we have been making an effort, but it just feels like we're falling short because we don't have the resources. So I guess this would, and I don't know if it would be, one ministry that didn't come up, but I feel like maybe would have been good is, what is it? Ministry of State. What is the name of it? It's kind of a different ministry, the new ministry, right?
Oh, is it the Brittany Anderson, Minister
Yeah.
Anderson's Minister of State for Local Government?
Yeah, that's the one. So I feel like she does a lot with like rural, smaller local governments, and that perhaps, but it's hard when you can only send it to one ministry because they have so many overlapping pieces. And so it's like, what are our best chances? Like who can,
she is Minister of State for Local Governments and Rural Communities. So she feels like a good target.
Yeah. Okay, so for this first one, what is the board's feeling on if we were to request a meeting with the Minister of State of Rural Local Government, Minister Brittany Anderson, on our engagement with First Nations governments and like creating capacity and more resources for that. Sorry. Like,
I
frame.
get where you're coming.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Karen. Like, oh my God. Yeah, thoughts from the board.
I think it's a great idea.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Anybody? Yeah,
Sounds good.
okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It's been a struggle since time started the regional district, especially with the geography of the nations where they're situated, where the regional district is situated. It's just hard to have meaningful engagement due to those factors, and some funds would definitely help that out.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Director Hall. Absolutely. Okay,
We
so
talk-
that there was,
oh.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to add to that. We talked about that with the federal funding because it was only, I don't know, $10,000 or something, and that still was enough for us when we applied for it. But anyway, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, I think one of the pieces would be like ensuring that the members of the consultation are compensated, right? So that people are a little more willing to come to the table and that there is a value on deep and meaningful consultation. It's not just to check a box, like we really want it, but yeah, we don't have the resources, and we are often asking for that without compensation for our neighbors and partners that way. So okay, so there's that one. This has come up recently, and we've received letters from the New Hulk Nation to ministers about land use planning challenges and jurisdictional uncertainty. So the next request would have to do with like navigating difficult land use decisions, so overlapping interests, title right assertions. There's a lot of questions, of course, about that, conflicting public expectations. So just looking for clearer provincial guidance for local governments on like this overlaps, of course, with the first request, but I really want to be specific with the it's clear that that there's a perception that of like overstepping by local governments when it comes to land use planning. So just some clarification from the province, how we should respond to Indigenous government correspondence when it comes to land use and frameworks. So not a one size fits all framework, but just some sort of framework that we can work within with our partners that way to balance reconciliation with our obligations to meet our requirements as well. So yeah, that one. Any questions or comments when it comes to that land use planning piece? I know that like municipal affairs, they already know about this, right? So maybe that would be a good ministry to target. We have been talking to that ministry consistently for the past few UBCMs. It seems like we're on the radar. There's a different minister than we've met with previously, but maybe that would be a municipal affairs piece. Maybe it's like Indigenous relations. Maybe it's Minister of State. Again, Director Hall.
Just wondering if any of this ties into the changes to the Heritage Act or whatever that title is, because they're removing a lot of the engagement pieces with the Indigenous communities to create permits. I did support that in the areas of like emergency when it needed to create a permit to respond to like a ditch washing out or something like that. But the engagement piece is definitely gone. The Celtic Nation, I believe, forwarded you guys a letter of their position regarding that as well. So I do think that the engagement portion of this maybe would fall under potential creating partnerships. Those tend to get a lot more weight and move a lot faster. So that's my idea about trying to deal with some of this stuff.
I was under the impression that the changes to the Heritage Act actually brought in more consultation, but I could be wrong. Does anyone off the top of their head know much about like the Curtis, you know much of it? I like.
I haven't kept up to it because it kind of became, it was like a big thing, and then it
Yeah.
kind of, the province backtracked. If you're interested in this, if you
Yeah, they
want,
did.
you could give us direct us to bring forward like a briefing note for there or some information on it.
Okay, yeah, because all the controversy I had heard about the Heritage Act was more consultation with for Indigenous groups and First Nations governments, and that so I had not heard that there was less. I had heard the opposite, but
The Heritage people had a deck of slides, and on that deck it was removing a bunch of the steps anyway. We could probably request that deck from them. I believe I have the card on my desk at home, but we can look them up too.
okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so as far as land use planning challenges, thoughts, any other thoughts from the board about that piece? I think like what I really want is to like acknowledge the validity of the concerns of the nation, you know, but also to get some clarity on our statutory obligations.
Yeah, if I may, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but if
No.
I may, I like how you articulated that. For me, I definitely want to assure our Indigenous partners, our commitment to meaningful consultation, as you said, not just a ticky box, a clear path forward as much as possible. Again, it can't be a one size fits all solution. Healthsick aspirations are going to be different than New Hawk, are going to be different than Owikano. There's issues that we will be involved in that are intergovernmental between those nations that will impact us, will impact our decision making, will impact all residents of the valley, and yet in a sense, well, no, it's true. In our current situation, there is not much of an opportunity to weigh into those and be meaningful contributors. And there are lots of historical reasons why that is. I'm just trying to put a good spin on it, try to be optimistic that maybe this, I wouldn't call it a crisis, but this current situation, this conflict, maybe if we keep our heads and keep calm, we can find a way to address these things. And as I said, move forward in a meaningful way.
Which ministry do we think, would it be municipal affairs that we would want to bring this to? Thoughts?
Or is that Ministry of Indigenous Relations? And
Yeah, that does seem to,
that seems to be more
yeah,
fitting.
yeah, yeah. And
I agree.
okay, that sounds good. What do you think, Director Hall?
Yeah, I just say I agree with that. And it is Indigenous affairs because I mean we were given this task to deal with or implement UNDRIP quite some time ago. They never did create a like a pathway for it.
Yeah.
And left it to the sides of the desk of the regional districts and municipalities. So being who we are, we did create that financing reconciliation piece. There are some of the aspects in that would touch on this as well. But yeah, this would be a big one going forward, and I appreciate the kind of the acknowledgement of the nations and whatnot to deal with this, Steve. Look at all those decisions now with like Musqueam area and his land Richmond area. These are really interesting coming up.
Yes,
Okay.
very interesting. Yeah, there's like historic, monumental, really important decisions, you know, and we're going to be looking at it for the next decade at least it's going to be happening. So okay, so now Ms. Harding, so we've got Indigenous relations, we've got this land use planning challenges and jurisdictional uncertainty. Do you have what you need for this piece? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Okay, the next one is a big one that we've kind of talked about. I'm not trying to put anyone out of a job or anything, but I think it's a conversation that is worth starting. We have a very small regional district as far as tax base goes, and a very large regional district as far as land goes. It makes like our governance costs very high, and we pay more for governance because of our small tax base. So, you know, I've been talking to a lot of members of the public, other local government representatives, and other partners about, you know, potentially starting the conversation of, you know, not immediately like amalgamating with Mount Waddington, but looking at the benefits of like redrawing those lines. And I know Director Hall has brought up in the past, like even our area boundaries within our regional district, like looking at if those should change as well. But like, what are the benefits of having our own regional district? Does it give us more of a voice, or does it just cost us a lot of money because we, you know, have to meet all of our obligations the same way as we would if we were Caribou, you know? So anyways, this one, I'm also okay with it being shot down, but I just want that conversation to be out there as far as the possibility of starting the conversation of redrawing the lines of our regional district.
Can I just add just information about, there is grants available through the Ministry of Municipal Affairs for governance reviews.
Okay.
So there is, I don't know how well it is funded in the last little bit, but a number of years ago, they did have a funding stream directly for if local governments needed to look at and review some of their governance areas.
Mm-hmm.
So this one would probably fit within municipal affairs.
Okay.
At minimum, that would be the appropriate place for it to go.
Right. Okay. Thoughts from the board?
So,
Director Hall.
yeah, some of the thoughts that came out of the tribal council and leadership here was that we'd be a smaller number in a bigger fishbowl. And so that, you know, the decision making and voting and whatever will be overshot by larger numbers in those other areas. That's one of the ideas that came out anyway. But yeah, I think you alluded to that a little bit in your comment earlier, but yeah, that's where the nation came up with, or at least some of them did. So there's gonna be a lot of challenges there too. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, you know, one thing that's come up as far as talking about it with other local governments is, I think like ideologically, we align more with like Mount Waddington. You know, when it comes to practicality, you could see like drawing a line through our regional district, and like the valley goes with Caribou, the outer coast goes with Mount Waddington. But like ideologically, I don't think that that's really a fit. As far as logistically, joining the Mount Waddington Regional District it would be a nightmare, right? Like getting there, transportation, things like that. But we may align more when it comes. So anyways, it's a big conversation that would not be something that would move quickly, but that may solve some of the challenges that we have been facing as far as costs go. So something to consider if there's an appetite for the conversation.
I would say I have an appetite for the conversation, recognizing that there's so many facets to this, and between yourself, Chair Kennedy, and Director Hall, you've nailed two of them. One is the, you know, for lack of a better term, more access to more resources, that sort of thing. But then you're like Director Hall says, you're a small fish in a much bigger pond. So the question of representation or effective representation. I've lived in two other small towns in what essentially were larger regional districts, and and I know it's intergovernmental and different levels and all that, but I've been in two places now where people outside of our community made decisions for us around hospitals, for example, and emergency care that we didn't much appreciate. And so that would be my my concern is that, I mean, right now, yeah, it's expensive. Governance is really expensive. If it comes down to a question of value for our dollar, I guess that is the question. You know, is this closer to the source sort of government, local government? Is it worth it in the long run? It would be an interesting conversation with constituents. I would imagine that there's some people would say, yeah, it's, you know, it's about time we got to reduce costs, and then other people are going to be upset by the change in representation. So it's a conversation I like to have. I don't know how to have it off the top of my head. I'm going to suggest maybe at the next meeting I'm not sure. I'm not trying to shut the door, but there are things I'd like to say, but I don't really know if it's what needs to be said without adding fuel to the fire. So I would welcome either a in-camera meeting on it, and I think that's reasonable because, quite frankly, we would be, as you said, Director Kennedy, there would be jobs on the line, right? So maybe an in-camera meeting is the way to go. I don't remember if a committee of the whole is confidential or not, but
I just kind of say that this is, if I may jump in here, this is
yeah,
a long process.
yes,
If they are looking at doing this, and there would be a need for significant studies. So I think that, you know, we're jumping to pretty far down the line. I think that the board would at this stage look at kind of one, you're on the UBCM topic. So really it's, are you going to meet with the minister about this? If the board
Right.
feels that there's value, you know, you can direct us to look into it and report back on what the process would look like. Like there's a number of avenues here you could take. But you know, there's no, until that study is done and those costs are in front of you, you know, it's a little early to be going into that specific element. You know, you can either again have that meeting, which is the topic at hand, or if you are interested in more information, staff are happy to engage with municipal affairs and come back to you with like a bit more detailed report, and to see as well as if there is grant funding to undertake the work that'll be involved. As I'm pretty sure the municipal affairs will want a study and a report done on all of the details before they start really redrawing the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like hopefully paid for by not us. That'd be great. Dr. Newkirk, did you want to add anything?
No, not really to that. Just kind of reading through the bullet points up here on the screen. I could see potentially trying to get a meeting with, like using those bullet points, potentially trying to get a meeting with the Ministry of Finance to try and discuss some of the what they could do to try and help us support some of the rising costs of trying to run our services. Yeah, I know that doesn't go exactly with what you had written down about district boundary review or whatever, but I could certainly see trying to talk to the minister about that.
This wouldn't have any effect on services, because the services are the services, and it's more the general government or the general CCRD administration that would be the cost saver.
Right.
Yeah, I talked to the Mount Waddington chair about it a while back. He was, really open to the idea of it, but then he was like, "Hey, you could be chair of both regions." I was like, "Hang on a minute here." So it's like Mr. Slingerland said, many years down the road, and just the beginning of that conversation. So yeah, I guess the question is this a UBCM minister meeting request, or is it just let's get more information from staff sort of situation?
It sounds like get more information from staff situation.
Okay.
And didn't a little while ago, speaking of like boundary review or whatever, didn't wasn't Clem 2 kind of requesting to maybe be more, they feel they're more aligned with the Central Coast than
Yeah,
the current situation, so
I was thinking about that this morning.
maybe that is a staff point that they could try and look up some more of that information and bring it back to the board or something.
Okay, okay. So, okay, so I'm thinking after this discussion, when we come back with like all the meetings and we do the resolution, then we would do a resolution separate about directing staff for more information on this topic.
Directed to our core.
Oh, sorry.
So no worries. How she wants to structure those resolutions.
I am just crafting as we go, so I suggest we just continue on with UBCM. And then
Okay.
we can go back and review the Heritage Act if you want more information on that, and also the regional district boundary review.
Okay, thank you. Excellent. Okay, so next topic that has been kind of on the radar for us that came up was landfill lifespan versus community cleanup expectations. So this one has kind of come up as far as donating or, when community cleanups happen, waiving the fees. So yeah, right now it's a bit of a struggle because we have the issue of the lifespan of the landfill. Everything that goes into the landfill is decreasing the life of the landfill. And so we also have to be responsible when it comes to what we're waiving. So yeah, here I just have the province encourages community cleanups and attractant management and reducing illegal dumping, but the financial and operational burden falls on local governments. So it's, environmental stewardship, wildlife conflict reduction, reconciliation, community partnerships, infrastructure sustainability. So yeah, where do we want to go with this piece? As far as advocacy, like, would we like to speak to the Minister of Environment about some funding, some direct funding for community cleanups, whether that be for the nation, or for, Bella Coola Tourism also came to us with a request. So yeah, would it be that ministry that would be the best to talk about? And is this a conversation that we want to bring to UBCM? So I'll ask the board.
Yeah, I would think this is definitely a topic that we should bring to UBCM. I mean, both Bella Coola Valley Tourism or Bella Coola Cleanup Crew, they ask every year, and it would be nice to not try to have to fund that from the CCRD budget.
Mm-hmm.
As well as the nation. I know they have a huge appetite right now to try and clean up, and it would be nice to make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. Great. And are you thinking
Ministry of Environment?
Yeah. Okay. Other thoughts from directors there? Nope. All good. Okay. Ms. Harding, does that sound clear? Yeah. Great.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Perfect. So yeah, this one, human bear conflict and rural waste management. So we're along the same lines, but just a different kind of take on it. So I did see that job posted. I was really excited to see that. However, I don't think that is everything that we need. I think that there is more that we need in our community. And that's a really hard job to fill. It's not a very high paying job. I think it's $25 an hour to basically alienate your friends and neighbors. No, I'm kidding. But it's like a bylaw officer in a way that a lot of people resist change. Culturally, it's a challenging position to be in. It's over the years, it's been a really hard position to fill. And often wild safe officers either don't stay in that position long or don't stay in the community long. So, yeah, we also need funding for bear-resistant infrastructure. I would really love to see the province come to the table with some highly subsidized electric fencing equipment, as well as education around attractant management and electric fence use. Rural attractant management, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, but to expand on that. And how much of the burden small communities carry when it comes to wildlife interface. And right now, I mean, it is tangible. The fear, the challenge of like, we have had a tragic incident and it has rocked this community and changed people's perspectives. And I think that, yeah, now is a really good time to look at these problems that we've been dealing with that have been evolving over the years. So yeah, for this one, maybe a Minister of Environment. The Minister of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship was really receptive to the conversation. She might also be someone to have a second meeting with. There was an appetite to help us. It felt, I felt like they wanted to support us. So yeah, thoughts from the board as far as what we should do with that one, or if it's a thing.
Anyone else first? I'll go second.
Okay. Director Northeast, do you have anything you want to throw in there?
No, not at this time.
Okay. You're up.
Great. No, I think it's a great topic. I just don't know what ministry
Yeah.
that would be the best suited
Mhm.
to talk to about that.
Yeah.
But definitely at the forefront here in Bella Coola right now, trying to grasp how to deal with these situations.
Yeah.
So it's a great topic to bring up.
Yeah.
Just not sure what ministry.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
You can, if you want, you can pump that to us to kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we?
If you're lost, you can kind of go like, hey, can you guys look into it? And I think there's a generic number or guide we can go through. And
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, great.
And in a worst case scenario, our MLA is the Minister of Environment. So there is
Sure.
some.
Yeah.
That might be a good avenue.
Because we want to make sure that it goes to the right minister, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to get a meeting set up and they say, well, technically it should go to somebody
Right.
else.
Have you talked to them?
Yeah. And then we kind of waste that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. Next one is a popular topic. It is small water system sustainability. We brought this up with the Minister of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship, and she says, like, yes, people are screaming for relief in the province for the costs of small water systems. It is not affordable and very challenging and almost like, yeah, we just can't afford it. It is a huge cost. And I've heard of regional districts like having to cut water systems loose because they just cannot afford to run them. So yeah, I guess we did speak to the Minister of Health last year. She was also she also got it. She was like, yes, we are hearing this. Municipal affairs. Yes. So if we feel like bringing this back and hammering this topic again is worth it, then it's on the table. If we feel like we're beating our head, beating our head against the wall, is that what we say? Okay. If we feel like we're doing that, then we don't. But thoughts?
I think we should continue to beat our head up against it.
Okay, I'm on board. I'm a sucker for punishment, that's for sure. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I mean, I think any chance that we get to try and talk to the ministries and raise the concerns of that we're having in this small town.
Yeah.
That it's worth the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we water, land and resource stewardship or, yeah, can we pass that to staff as well to decide what the best, like most, the one that makes the most sense, I guess, for chances of actually getting the help that we need. I'm also going to bring it up we have a meeting with all the chairs in the province, and I'm also going to bring it up again with the chairs of like, what is everybody else doing? Okay. Also, would you like to speak about the
Yeah,
possible-
and I thought of something else that I'd like to maybe bring up as well, but I'd like to see a sit-down meeting with the Ministry of Transport in regards to Highway 20, specifically Bella Coola, and a chat about the contractor and the pothole situation in Bella Coola, as well as ditches and culverts, and what their responsibilities are as a contractor in actually maintaining the roads, ditches, and culverts, because it doesn't appear to be being done. And I think it would be well worth our time to investigate that for sure.
Absolutely. I agree, 100%. Other thoughts on this topic from the board? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think that this is something that has just gotten worse and worse and worse progressively.
Yeah, and I mean, Director Hall, chime in if you like to. I don't know, that maybe that might be the same opportunity to talk to them about the road infrastructure in Bella as well.
Yeah, I wonder. Go ahead.
As you say, definitely. I also spoke with one of the maintenance guys on the roads in Mount Waddington on the highway. And the solution there is just to put little patches in it. But the worker was actually saying, you know, can you help advocate for us as well and get them to replace whole strips of the highway instead of just little patches? Because it does cause extra damage to vehicles and whatnot, but it's just more work overall for individual little trucks to go out and patch, you know. And maybe that'd be a coordination thing too with regards to the company, there's a company, I guess, that has a monopoly on asphalt and fixing roads, and we were trying to purchase one of the machines, and apparently I don't know, we weren't able to purchase it to do our own work. Anyway, it'd be a good, definitely a good field to try and overall coordinate for having repairs done to roads all over in our region. Good point.
Perfect.
Well, that's where it's a little different roads on reserve and off reserve too, as well. That's, federal land. It's doesn't fall under Dawson's contract, but it might be interesting to know, and actually either through freedom of information, get the staff to actually send off some paperwork to try to get that contract to see it with our own eyes, what they are supposed to be doing and what they are not doing.
Yeah,
I think for me, it would be getting the like-minded jobs that need to be done on a bigger scale, not just a little patchwork for that one company that does that contract. Because those machines would have to be in the area and then do all the work instead of just go to the valley and then leave. That's all. Maybe get contact Mount Waddington too and see if they would want some support in that sense.
They have a different road contractor on the island than we do here, but it sounds like similar issues.
If it sounds like I guess what this topic is, do we keep it to the Bella Coola Valley specific? Or do we have it be a region-wide issue with the roads? That's kind of where I can see it kind of going, and just want to get clarification on.
Yeah, I feel like
scope.
2 topics would be good, because I think we have different. Yeah, it's to me it feels like 2, but
Okay.
what
It's definitely 2 when you consider the phase 2, trying to relocate a road in Bella as opposed to just recopying. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 2 topics, maybe the same ministry, but 2 topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ms. Harding, do you have what you needed for that one?
So what I had were Highway 20 and road conditions throughout the CCRD, but it sounds like we don't want that. We want something separate.
Yeah, I think we're looking at, we have Director Hall's first request, and then this one would be like another request for Bella Coola specifically.
Okay, because initially Director Hall had both his dock and the emergency route going to Indigenous Relations. So are we going to pull the emergency route and put that under the MOTT, the MOTT?
Maybe we should keep that one as it is. What do you think, Director Hall? We had that one under Indigenous Relations
Yeah.
there.
I think we should keep it where it is because, I mean, they're just, I can't describe what it is that makes it different, but it should go to the Ministry of Indigenous Affairs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can leave that one there, and then for Ministry of, MOTT,
Yeah.
can't remember if
Yeah.
it's transit and transportation or transportation and transit. I have Highway 20 and road conditions throughout the CCRD.
Yeah, let's say the Bella Coola Valley, I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's make it more specific to Bella Coola if we're keeping those two topics separate because it's horrendous down here and it's not quite as bad through the Chilcotin.
Yeah, well, it's nothing to do with Chilcotin. We don't want to
No.
drag them into it, but
No.
our roads on Denny Island and Ocean Falls are also pretty bad too. So
Yeah.
and all looked after by the same contractor.
Yeah.
And maybe just a contract for utilizing each other, just a cost savings thing. When the equipment's here, let's try to get it all done.
Sorry, Director Hall, what was that?
So I was just saying when the equipment is here, let's try to get it all done and do a cost savings thing where we're not all shipping it out and shipping it back and having those fees attached to it.
So when you say here, what do you mean here?
To
Like
the
Bella
Central
Bella?
Coast. To the Central Coast, to all of our communities here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
well,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like out here, so they finally sent the grader out, but the grader operator was driving about 100 miles an hour, and the potholes were so bad it broke the grader.
Oh my God. See, that
So
is
he
a
got
meeting
a bit of the road
request.
he got a bit of the road graded, broke the grader because he was driving so fast, and then it's been parked ever since.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness. That is a perfect example of a meeting request. Oh my God.
So
Okay.
back to, are we doing Bella Coola Valley, or are we going back to, because Denny Island obviously has issues as well, are we going back to
I think,
throughout the CCRD?
I think because we have the one with Indigenous Relations, and then
Yeah.
we could do Bella Coola Valley, Ocean Falls, Denny Island as well.
All right.
Perfect. So yeah, Steve, that would be a great thing to bring up during that meeting, and we can add it in to the background because that is crazy, and it really speaks to the degree to which the problems are. The other one that kind of came up, and I don't necessarily think it should be lumped in, but this is, I think, a Ministry of Transportation meeting request, is the new Satsum Bridge corner. Yeah, we had the conversation, I think it was a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, about the potentially putting a barrier in there. I think it would really benefit from like some warning lights. It says to slow, but I don't think that it's clear what people are coming up to when they approach that corner, that it says 30 and it means 30 or whatever the speed is. It's like a hairpin turn. So if we want to have a separate meeting for the New Satsum Bridge corner specifically, and having something done as far as safety goes around that. Did you want?
Signage and barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lawrence had brought it up about a year ago.
Yeah.
Due to like two vehicle incidents almost within 2 weeks. One hit the barrier, and then the other one went, because the barrier was damaged, the other one went right off and into the river, and it was a search and rescue call. So it'd be nice to know where they're at on that one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we can always, ask. Yeah. Ms. Harding, is that one clear? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, any other meeting requests that we want to bring forward?
Sorry, just to get back to the road safety one.
Mhm.
Does it qualify for the ICBC road safety program?
I don't know about the
Okay.
ICBC.
Yeah, there's a program that they utilized. I can't remember the name of the director, but she's like small communities, ABICC rep. But yeah, they utilized an ICBC one that installed a stoplight on a street that people kept getting hit on and stuff like that. So they just announced it at the last ABICC meeting, I believe. Donna. Maybe we should ask Donna. Because I just looked it up on Google Maps, or sorry, Google, and it says Road Safety BC, a provincial, and it's also ICBC Community Grants Program. Maybe those things will fall under qualify for those. Anyway, just an idea.
Okay. Okay, yeah, if you talk to Donna, maybe, let us know if you find out about that. Is that, maybe I'm not clear.
I can send her an email. Yep.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Anything else? Okay. Okay, great. So here we are. Ms. Harding. What do you think?
So why don't I just do a quick recap to make sure
Sure.
that I've got everything down here correctly. It's not going to be quite as formal as what I eventually write, but I will need it approved. So
Okay.
I have that staff be directed to request a meeting with the Ministry of Indigenous Relations, and that the following topics be included. And that would be Director Hall's 2 requests, so the wharf and the emergency route. And the other topic for Ministry of Indigenous Relations is the land use planning challenges. And the next one, that staff be directed to request a meeting with the Minister of State for Local Governments and Rural Communities, with the item of discussion to be the rural local government capacity and First Nation consultation. And then I have Ministry of Environment of Parks to discuss the landfill lifespan versus community cleanup expectations. We have Ministry of Transportation and Transit for Highway 20 and road conditions throughout the Bella Coola Valley, Ocean Falls, and Denny Island. And also included in there the New Satsum Bridge corner for potential signage and barrier. And then the final 2 topics, staff will research the appropriate minister, and the items for discussion would be the human bear conflict and rural waste management, along with the small water system sustainability.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Okay. Thank you. That was a big discussion. Thank you for keeping track of us. So yeah, I'm just looking for a mover. Moved by Director Newkirk and a seconder. Seconded by Director Emery. Further discussion? All in favor? Great. Thank you very much, you guys. It is 10:24. Let's take a quick break before we move on.
Chair Kennedy?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, before we move on, there were a couple of items that were discussed in that discussion that we were saving until just while we're on this item. And that was
sure.
the that do we still want staff to bring forward information on a regional district boundary review that focuses on effective representation and the rising cost of services?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we have a motion for that, please?
Yes. Move over. Moved by
I move.
Director Newkirk, seconded by Director Northeast. Further discussion? All in favor? Great. And there was one more. What was the other thing?
There were actually two. We also had some discussion regarding the Heritage Act. Did you want staff to bring forward information on the changes that have taken place within the Act?
Possibly how the changes affect our region. Would that be possible?
It's, if I may jump in, it's difficult because they never did the changes.
Oh, okay.
The province underwent significant consultation with local governments.
Yeah.
They built it with First Nations,
Mm-hmm.
and then they stopped. So it's, I
Right.
think I can find you some information, but the legislation never came forward, and they put that on pause.
Yeah.
So I can kind of give you a bit of an understanding of where kind of things ended up, but there are limitations because it never really happened.
Right.
And it is going to change again, and it will be back. They will be back doing consultation with whatever they've come up with next.
Okay.
So it's a challenging thing because it's not like, oh, here's what they've done.
Yeah.
Here's a clear understanding. It's here's kind of where it stalled out.
Yeah.
And then and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Director Hall?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I hope you can confirm that stopping, because they were really, really hard stating that they were gonna do, oh, this is gonna roll out in 6 months and then it's gonna be finalized in 12 months, and they had a timeline for that already. And that's what I brought up with the Hermd office and William Housty. That's what triggered their response and email to us at CCRD regarding their position. Anyway, please get that information, and I'd like to see that it's definitely at least postponed for more consultation. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure. So we are looking at so we're getting staff to look at what the potential changes were going to be before it was halted. That's what you're looking at? That's what we want?
Well, if you just direct us to bring forward a report on the Heritage Act, then we'll do as best we can to put as much information that we can get in there. And then the board, if they need have any further questions, can direct us to deep, go into a rabbit hole on a specific.
Yeah, like I just put in a quick Google search of like, what are the potential changes to align it with DRIPA? Like it's all more Indigenous consultation, not less, is what I'm seeing when I Google it. But so anyways, I don't know if this would help if the board did a Google search, or if we want the staff to put together a report on something that we can very easily find out ourselves, but that is up to the board.
What the area association, was that an area association? Wouldn't they have the deck in their files for that meeting?
Yeah, your interpretation of that was much different from my interpretation of it. I do remember that conversation, and I was confused about your interpretation, but it doesn't mean that mine is right and yours is wrong. I was just very confused. So when I'm looking at it on Google, it doesn't say that, but yeah, if you want to get in contact with them and get their slides, then that is totally fine, and we could bring that forward. I have no problem with that. I just I don't recall that at the time.
There were literally, in my view, there were literally blocks that say engagement here, engagement here, engagement here. And then it said, we don't have to engage in this portion and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm gonna contact them and see where we can find.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Thank you very much. And there was one more thing, Ms. Harding?
The only other question I had was Director Emery mentioned that it might be worth the board having look at the contract that's currently in place with Dawson and the province.
Okay.
If we wanted, if the board wants us to move forward with putting in a request for that.
Yeah, Director Emery, yeah.
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Okay, moved by Director Emery, seconded by Director Newkirk. All in favor? Great. Okay, now we're gonna, is it okay if we take a break now? Sorry that I was like,
Thank you.
we're taking a break. No, that's okay. It's good to talk about it while it's fresh instead of after a break. That's good thinking. So it's 10:30. Let's take a 10-minute break and come back at 10:40. All right. So yeah, next we have the Centennial pool update. I'm so excited to hear this update, and we have Ms. Coola with us. I'm going to put her on the spot and ask us to run through this update because it is so exciting. So there she is. There she, oh yeah. Hello.
I am here. Hello.
Hi.
Do you want me to run through this update?
Oh, if you could, yeah, just kind of give us a little,
Well,
high
as I
level
was
sort of-
listening to, we're desperately trying to get the pool safety plan done.
Oh, it's exciting.
No, it is very exciting. So pool is fully operational. Everything's balanced. We are just, we really just need to get the permit and the pool safety plan, which we've been working on for the last two days. We've had a contractor do it, and we're just filling in the blanks that have been missed or further recommendations that Vancouver Coastal Health is asking for us. So that is where we are. Outstanding issues here. You're looking at the pool blankets. So we are struggling with the pool blankets that we have at the pool. They are mechanical and they are from Eastern Europe, but we can't get them to work. As of Tuesday, we've got them functioning. There's a few problems involved. They are on the pool now. We're hoping that we won't have a problem when we have to take them off in a few days. So that is definitely an issue that we have, and we are working with the supplier on that. There's been a lot of 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock calls to Eastern Europe, walking through the process. A couple minor leaks that we'll be working on throughout the season. And again, with the pool supplier, they'll be coming in to have a look at them when we're here. Who would think it would be difficult to get a pool vacuum in? But we're still waiting on that to be sent in to us. Considering we don't have a pool vacuum, the pool is remarkably clean. Like it's amazing how clean it's been. Cottonwood is here now, so we may be in trouble if it doesn't arrive today. First set of training with lifeguards happened last week. That was successful, and starting this weekend, we will have the second instructor coming in to work on the instructor's training and certification with the staff. That is where we are. If we can get our permit put in today, we're hoping that we can have schools in the pool next week.
Wow.
Excellent.
So that is where we are.
That is so exciting. I know there's been some hiccups and you guys have been working so hard and it's really appreciated. I also see, the recognition of Krista Wilson putting in tons of time over the past year coordinating certification. Huge recognition to the team that has made this possible. And it is really exciting to know that we're going to have a pool season this year.
Yeah.
Hooray!
We are, and I guess the question is too, whether or not we want to, a grand opening. Lots of people are interested in some sort of celebration. Staffing is definitely an issue that we don't have staffing, but would you like to go forward and do something special on a day just to celebrate the opening of the pool?
Yeah, I'm wondering if we do one, like, it doesn't have to be the day that it opens, but maybe like a celebration on Canada Day or something, a celebration of some sort. Maybe when some of the kinks are ironed out, we do more of a soft open, and then something with, cake and I don't know what else goes with the, like, But doesn't like going balloons? No. Yes, no. I don't know.
No balloons, no
Ribbon.
balloons. We don't want them in the pool.
No balloons. No balloons. No confetti. No nothing without a pool vacuum. Okay. Director Northeast, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I walked in a little bit late. It sounds wonderful, and I am so excited that the pool is reopening. I am all in favor of some occasion that marks or celebrates the reopening. I think I agree with Director or Chair Kennedy that maybe not the first official day, but sort of have a soft opening and then a celebration. I will pass along one constituent's thought on this particular, how to get interest. Like an open house is a great idea. Again, keeping the costs down. That's always in view. But also maybe celebrate with some free days for the community. And again, piggybacking on Chair Kennedy's thoughts, I think a free day or a celebratory day on Indigenous Day, I think that's June 21st, and on Canada Day would be awesome. I think that was early enough in the season that it'll create some interest and people will go. I would definitely on the Indigenous Day one, invite the New Hawk Singers or some elders to open the celebration. So just a couple of thoughts on that again, but again, to all the staff at the CCRD and the pool staff that got this, giant truck going by, brought this across the goal line. Well done, and thank you very much.
Wonderful. Yeah. Did you want to?
Yeah, I think a bit of a celebration is in order for sure. What that entails or whatever, a free day to draw some people in is also another good idea, or cake and some hot dogs. I don't know. I'm all for having a little bit of a celebration it's great. It's a great idea for sure.
Yeah, I'm nervous about a free day. It makes me nervous, but I like the idea of celebration with some bonus stuff. But a free day makes me just a little nervous if there is a little bit of a staffing shortage, and we have to think about safety stuff too, and admitting how many people, capacity stuff. But Ms. Harding, go ahead.
We also have to remember we do have a fees bylaw related to the pool.
Okay, right.
So
good. Thank you.
That could prove challenging for a free event as well.
Okay. Yes. But we don't have a bylaw against cake.
We have no bylaw against cake.
Good. That's good. That is good. Cake is
Not
good.
yet,
Okay.
anyway.
Not yet. Okay. Ban cake. Okay. Oh boy.
I've got a question for Nicola about the blankets.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of warranty or anything? Like, what happens if these expensive blankets decide that they're going to be problematic in the long term?
So I'm not sure. John is actually on top of that right now, John Manson. So he is looking into this to make sure that we're covered.
Yeah. So like if they continue to be problematic, then maybe we're not on the hook for keeping them forever and go back to something that's a little bit more mechanical and not having these electrical problems.
No, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, and a simple solution is just getting rid of the rollers. There's nothing wrong with the blankets.
Right.
You can actually get another set of rollers to go with it. So yeah, we are the cost of that. John is working on with the contractors.
Yeah. Lovely.
Great. So I think we can make a motion that a grand opening celebration at the Centennial Pool be supported. We don't need to put any, do we have to put budget constraints on that or any stipulation?
No, I don't think so. I think that the budget, we had put some budget in, just very small budget for, I think it was advertising. I think it's in the report. It wasn't a ton of money, but there's a little bit of money.
Okay, great. Okay, So I'm just looking for that motion then.
Yep.
Moved by Director Newkirk, second by Director Northeast. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. Okay, 7.2. Paving request to the Minister of Transportation and Transit. Any questions here? So this is, a letter considering requesting consideration of the repaving of secondary roads while the paving crew is already here. So that Bella Coola Airport grant was approved. Very exciting. So planning for early 2020, fall 20, that's so soon.
Moving quickly.
Okay.
Grant has some very tight conditions.
Okay, great. Yeah, does Mr. Slangon, do you want to speak to this at all, or is it?
This came forward from Mr. Grenander.
Oh, okay.
He might be. He's on the call as well. He could probably speak to this.
Okay.
Yeah. You can jump on up.
Just send me himself.
And so you there? Okay. I can speak to it.
Okay.
So
Okay, no, I'm here.
okay, perfect. Could you speak to your report on the paving request to the minister?
Yeah, so the idea here is that there's a great opportunity having a paving crew come here to pave the airport. And so that's a major logistical endeavor. And so the thought is that there's other opportunities where roads and so on that needs paving. And so the thought is that, make the Minister of Transport know that we have this great opportunity for them to save costs and so on to upgrade the roads in the Bella Coola Valley. And there's also some paving requirement or requests that the Newhawk are putting forward. So there's a great opportunity to piggyback a number of projects here when we bring in a paving crew to the valley. I did reach out to sort of my contact with the Ministry of Transport for this area, and he wasn't aware that we had the opportunity for this paving work, and they didn't have anything in the books or the plans for this year to do any paving around here. And I didn't get the impression that he was going to try to lobby this great opportunity very hard. So I thought, well, let's just go straight to the minister and make sure the ministry is aware that this is a great opportunity that they should act on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is, and it really ties in with what that the discussion when it comes to UBCM minister meetings. We had one come forward for the Minister of Transportation and Transit, and that will be very likely too late. So this is a really great way to get the ball rolling so that we actually have a chance to do that instead of just broaching this topic in September. So I think that's a great idea to begin that advocacy piece. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, hopefully we can get the Ministry of Transport on board to potentially fix some of the road problems while the paving crew's here.
Yeah.
And then if not, then we can go after them at UBCM and say,
Yep.
why did this not happen?
That's right. We had our end all sorted out. So, okay, that's great. Any other questions, comments?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Grenander, for the report. I am now looking for a resolution that staff be directed to draft a letter of request to Honorable Mike Farnworth, Minister of Transportation and Transit, to take advantage of the availability of a paving crew in Bella Coola to conduct much needed repairs on secondary roads, and that the public be encouraged to register complaints with the Ministry of Transportation and Transit about the poor condition of secondary roads in Bella Coola.
I would love to make that motion.
Excellent. Moved by Director Newkirk, and a seconder?
Yep.
Director Northeast. Director Hall, I see your hands up.
I'd just add to the conversation, maybe reach out to Leo Lawson regarding Bella roads too. That's what I was trying to say just earlier with regards to the equipment being all here and everybody getting a chance to utilize it. Yeah, but yeah, that's good. Hope they get done.
Sorry, I missed you at the end there.
I was just saying, I hope it gets done in the Coola Valley because those roads are getting bad. And they should straighten that road up the mountain. No, just kidding.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we have a mover, we have a seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Gander, for the report again. Next we have the report on the Denny Island Terminal Building with updates on the project and a request for decision. So let's see here. Oh, my thing went to sleep here.
Bystad would be.
Oh, Miss Bystad. Perfect. Hello, Miss Bystad.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Lovely. I hope
Good.
you guys are having a beautiful day as I am.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're inside. We're all inside, but it's okay. Yeah, thank you for your report on the Denny Island terminal building. Can you run through the report and what we're being asked for today?
Yeah, would love to. Thank you. So the Denny Island Airport Terminal has been before the board while we've moved through the process. The last time was in January. The board did make a couple resolutions which are there on as part of the report. We're bringing this back to the board because after the January meeting, we have since received funding from NDIT. We were successful or mostly successful in our grant application. We were approved for $94,651. And so that potentially changes the scope of the project. The package that's in front of the directors, in addition to my report, includes 2 sets of work plans. So one work plan that was requested after the January meeting, just for the roof drawings, and then the new updated work plan for the full terminal building drawings. I do need to make a quick apology here. In options 1 and 2 on page 4, there's a reference to building materials or building permits. That's my bad. I thought I had taken that out, so sorry about that. I'm hoping it didn't cause any confusion. Please ignore any permit references. The full terminal drawings make reference to potentially 5 sub-consultants that are involved in the project at this time. Their information and costs are included as Appendix A of the terminal work plan, just for your information. So staff are recommending that we proceed with the full terminal drawings as outlined in option 1 to utilize the funding provided by NDIT. In addition to the explanation that's here under the option and under the discussion points, one other concern with perhaps not taking advantage of the NDIT funding is if we don't use this now and we wait till next year to reapply, the funding program is undergoing some changes. And starting in 2027, all infrastructure applications will require a business case and an asset management plan, neither of which we currently have for these projects. So these new requirements are going to be adding a sort of a layer of complexity to our applications. So if we're able to take advantage of the current funding and avoid having to reapply with those new conditions, that would be optimal. We have had a preliminary meeting with the Airport Commission. They have committed to this process. We've already been engaging more and looking at more opportunities to meet and work together through this project, in addition to the review meetings that are scheduled within the work plan. So ultimately, we hope to use the drawings, I think in a bid process that's really similar to the Denny Island water that just happened, where we're able to say sort of, here's the budget, here's the drawings, and how much are we able to complete. And so part of that work with the commission will be to make sure that we have really clear priorities on the terminal building improvements. So I'm hoping that between the report and the attached work plans, there's a fair chunk of information for the directors. I recognize that, but if there are any questions, that would be awesome.
Thank you, Ms. Barstad, for the report. Director Emery?
I guess the only thing that worries me is that the cost of this $54,000 to have some drawings seems excessive. So I don't know. That's the only part that I'm kind of worried about, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and I recognize that I gotta admit I was a little surprised as well. Have gone through and talked to Urban Systems about the increased costs. The new subcon whoa, why am I having trouble with that word today? The new sub-consultants you know, are looking at real specific items that have been brought forward. So the new septic system, the electrical upgrades, and the new rainwater system. So there may be some building programming elements that we can bring down. So there may be still some, you know, some abilities to lower that amount. I'm not counting on that, but it is sort of a bit of an ongoing discussion. And of course, we're hoping that by having a really good set of drawings, that will help minimize our costs through the bid process, that we're able to get really competitive bids to get more work done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the septic system would definitely cost a bit of money just to do that.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Nope.
So our recommended resolution is that the expenditure of up to $54,676 from the Denny Island Airport funding allocation for the completion of drawings by Urban Systems be approved. That doesn't, you know, we can, we've also got other options, of course. Just looking for a resolution from the board.
I also, I thought there was a bit of money left over to do kind of a future planning, you know, for that airport. And Curtis had mentioned before.
Yeah, so there is some, and Curtis, if you wanted to jump in here, but there is some funding left over from a different program. And so we are in the process of looking at some dates with the Airport Commission to do an airport site visioning exercise. And that looks like it's going to be happening towards the second week of June. So we're just in the process of finalizing a date for that.
Okay, so then that would be kind of like more like option 2 with the engagement piece, or Ms. Harding, go ahead.
So we have required, if you decide to go with the initial option 1 that staff is recommending, their first resolution, which you already read out, has to be a separate resolution from the second one because of the voting weights. So both 1 and 2 are required for the staff recommendation. If you decide to not go with staff recommendation, then it's below the or.
Okay.
And are we going to be able to see like a preliminary plan before they get officially drawn, or is that part of the part and parcel that once we give the okay, we won't see any preliminary plans?
Yeah, no, the work plan calls for a couple different points of contact. So at the 50% drawing stage, they'll be coming for review and discussion. And then at the 100%, and then we have built in a round of revisions if necessary at that point. And then once everything is complete, it'll still be coming back to the board again. So there's a few different touch points that we've built in for both the commission and the board.
Question.
Yes.
And these drawings are there to renovate the current building, is that correct? Or is this for a new building?
No, this is to renovate the existing building. The existing building was pretty much done to kind of a lockup stage. You know, perhaps a little more than that, but really at that, you know, after it got to that point, there wasn't any considerable work done on it, which is why we have basically no drawings for the building, but so much of the building still needs to be complete, like, you know, the electrical and the plumbing and everything, because it really was initially just done to the lockup stage.
Interested in more information, I think we've got some photos we could send you to help paint that picture.
Yeah, yeah. And how, Steve, maybe you could give me some information. How often how much usage is this building intended to get, or did the old one get?
Well, it depends on, like as airport, it gets littler use, but it's kind of a catch-22. If we want to have more airport activity, then we need to have a better building.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a means to go the next step, and then along with the future planning and exercise that's going to happen next month. That's kind of tied in with each other.
Okay.
So I guess I would make that motion for the expenditure of up to $54,676 from the Denny Island Airport funding allocation for the completion of drawings by Urban Systems.
Okay,
No,
moved by,
I second that.
seconded by Director Northeast. Further discussion on that one? All in favor? Great. And so then we would talk about the second part. Is that right, Ms. Harding? The number 2 there, yes. That ongoing engagement by staff with Denny Island Airport Commission be conducted to ensure best airport and community use of the airport terminal building and site, and that upon completion of the Denny Island Airport Terminal building drawings, they be brought back to the board for next step consideration. Moved by Director Emery and a seconder. Seconded by Director Newkirk. Further discussion? All in favor? Great. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Bystad, for the report and going through that with us. Oh, there's some pictures there. So that's the interior overview of the main room and then the exterior there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I've been in it.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Okay. Great. So next is a subdivision request. This is item 8.1. Am I right? No, I'm wrong. I missed something. Oh, sorry.
Hidden away.
Oh, yeah. 7.4, sorry, yeah, 7.4. So this is the award of a contract to complete the engineering portion, bless you, of the Coola Airport paving project. Questions about the report here, Director Northeast?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So we've got that report there. If anybody has any questions or wants that run through for us, otherwise we could go ahead with the recommended resolution that HM Aero Inc. be awarded the Coola Airport paving engineering contract.
Yep.
Moved by Director Northeast and a seconder. Seconded by Director Newkirk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you for keeping me on track there. Next is 8.1. So this is a land referral. So this is request for decision ALR subdivision request 4217 MacKenzie Highway. So I'm just gonna pull it up on my screen as well. So I've got it. And yeah, do we have any questions about this piece or anything from the board?
I guess
So
it
our
was recent. I guess it was recently bought. within the last year or something?
Oh, was it? I don't know. I
Not certain.
don't know.
I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly where it is.
Yeah.
In the valley.
So maybe if I
Let's
may.
go Google Maps. I'm gonna go Google Maps. Okay, go ahead. You go.
If I may, so the question in front of the board really is, they've initiated the subdivision process. So the provincial government is reaching out and going, they do an initial check with us before they start doing a ton of work to go, does this meet your zoning bylaw? So at its core, yes, it does. It does meet the zoning bylaw. So we're just advising the ALC that one, it does meet that provision, but it's two, a bit of a check of if there's any big concerns from the directors who might have a, you know, an understanding of the specifics of the area. So right now, as we don't have any official documents that advise us that this is a bad idea, or if there's any rules the board has established through zoning or official community plan that would limit this. The staff recommendation is that that we let the ALC know that it meets our zoning bylaw and that the application move forward. There will be consultation. There will be another stage of referrals that come later. We might see that 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line, depending on the process and what happens. So pretty innocuous this point, but it just puts it on the board's agenda radar.
Okay. So yeah, I was just
I guess the only,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the worst thing about it is just that they're gonna subdivide ALR land. And so that more or less takes it out of farming.
Right, and it just
Yeah.
goes to the commission for them to decide, basically, right?
Yeah.
So when I put it into Google Maps, Furville Wilderness Camp came up, but it doesn't look the same as on there. So yeah, I don't know exactly which.
Oh, I know where this is.
Okay.
Yeah. I know where, yeah.
Is it Furville?
It was recently purchased, like Steve said, it is in Furville.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they just put up a bunch of brand new solar panels there. Might ring a bell if you've driven in or out of the valley.
Okay.
I don't see why we can't advance it,
Yeah.
but like Steve said, it is in the ALR.
Mm-hmm.
The property does flood.
Yeah.
If he builds closer to the river, I guess that's at his own risk, but
Yeah. And yeah, the ALC, I guess, is there to make those types of decisions as well.
he kind of punts it over to them.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of a big
Yeah.
process. So it'll go to the ALC. The ALC will do their review. They may put conditions. They may say no. There's a whole element to the ALC where it's got to clear that gauntlet.
Mhm.
And then when it's clear that one, then it goes to Ministry of Transport. Their approving officers, the one who does that, there will be consultation with local First Nations. And as I said, it will come back before the board sort of thing. So this is just that initial test. If we wanted to put the brakes on it, we'd need a reason to put the brakes on, which is what staff are identifying that there's no reason to put the brakes on.
Okay.
If your zoning bylaw said that this isn't allowed, then that's what we would communicate
Mm-hmm.
and the reasons for it.
Okay. So our recommended resolution that's here is that the Agricultural Land Commission be. Oh, sorry, Director Northeast. I just feel free to interrupt me if I'm. Yeah.
Well, I interrupt way too often. Anyway, to be clear, my own mind to be clear, we are not approving this. We are just merely saying we don't have anything on our books that would prevent it from going ahead.
That's right.
As much as I dislike removing land from the ALR, it's not our decision. I am wondering, because it's just the way I'm wired, is this land even valuable potential farmland? Not really up for us to discuss. But after that, all the other little boxes that are open all those tabs that are open in my brain say, okay, consultation, and it looks like that's with First Nations. So that's on the table. So I'm prepared to make the motion that we authorize the application to proceed to the Agricultural Land Commission.
Okay, so moved by Director Northeast. I see a hand. Ms. Shad has a hand up.
There's currently no request to move it from the ALR. They're currently just requesting to subdivide it with the ALR.
Okay, there we go. If that adds some clarity. Did everybody hear Ms. Shad there that that the piece would not be removed from the ALR? It would just be subdivided within the ALR?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. So we have a mover. I'm looking for a seconder. Seconded by Director Newkirk. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. Great. Thanks, you guys. Next is Denny Island Diesel Generating Station 8.2. Response to the waste discharge permit for BC Hydro. Okay. So
I can jump on this a little bit. I don't have a, so this is a referral. We got this from BC Hydro. I assumed one of our directors will have a lot more knowledge about this than I do, so.
You mean me?
So I keep an eye, I'm looking at you, Director Emery. But for the most part, it's, there's not a huge amount that as staff, we look at the different bylaws and we look at the different rules that we have. There's not a ton that really puts guidance on there. So we kind of presented there's a few options, such as just writing a letter to BC Hydro to conduct adequate engagement, consultation with the health designation of residents within close proximity to the station. The board can also submit no comments to the province, which signals neither approval or disapproval, or you could write a letter expressing disapproval or seeking clarification on any item. So it's a bit of a almost looking to see what the opinion is of the local area director when it comes to something like this.
Director Emery.
Well, it's a no-brainer. It's just for the near future, it's absolutely going to make absolutely no difference. Like we have more. They're going to put another generator in it's actually in Coola right now, and it's going to be moved over here. So they spent about $3 million so far or more to make this happen, but it's not going to increase the pollution. It's there as a backup because the load has increased. So we are relying on 2 generators that are the same size as this one that's coming in. And if one of those breaks down, then we're shy of power. So this one is going to be more a redundant generator, so that you would run probably the most you're going to run is except if you're picking up load on an outage, is going to be the 2 anyhow. The same 2 we're running or this one in combination. But the waste permit that they have already is good to 5 megawatts, and because they're going over, they have to redo the permit, the waste permit.
Okay.
If anything, I'd give them hell for saying Shearwater's a town and Bella is a municipality. They I don't know how they managed to screw that up, but and it's on Marine Drive and not on Shearwater Road, but whatever.
Yikes.
But if anything, we should say that we don't have an issue with the additional generator, and thanks for being proactive in supplying us generation to get us through outages.
Okay. So, and the piece, like in option 1, there's a piece of like ensure adequate engagement. Oh, yeah, sorry. Adequate engagement and a consultation with the health technician and residences within close proximity. Is that something that we want to have in there, or you don't think that?
I don't think we need to do any of it. They've already been, in consultation with the band quite a bit here. They've posted signs on the hydro plant itself, and there's posted signs on the bulletin board down below. So people should have an idea of what's going on. And will it actually affect anyone? No, it'll make absolutely no difference.
Okay. So your resolution is to, yeah, can you just tell us one more time?
I
Sorry.
would, my resolution would be that that we have no issue with the increase in capacity, and to thank BC Hydro for being proactive in supplying us firm generation.
Okay, I have a motion. I'm looking for a seconder.
Second.
Seconded by Director Northeast. Further discussion on this motion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, great. Thank you, Director Emery, and thank you, Mr. Slingerland as well. Moving right along to the Kitasoo Forestry Referral 8.3, is that right?
I can talk to that
Yes.
just very briefly
great.
as well. Sorry.
Thank you.
So this one is just from the Kitasoo. Hey, they've got a forestry company and they're looking at doing some work or looking at some licenses. So the application came to us for referral. If you look at map 1, what you'll really see is kind of where these licenses are, proposed license of occupation. There's a few in the Central Coast, but predominantly it's across the border into the Kitimat-Stikine Regional District up by Susan Island. If you look at the map, it gives you an idea of kind of where these licenses are occupying. So,
Questions or comments?
These are just the standard applications for helicopter drop zones, and we should do the same, in my opinion, the same, that we have no issue as long as they're consulted with the Clem2 band, Kitasoo Hey, and also that all anchors and anchoring material will be removed from site and not just cut and left on the bottom of the ocean.
Good, yeah.
Good comment.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens all the time. They just cut the bobbers off, and the cable and everything goes to the bottom of the ocean and sits there and rots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd leave that as a caveat for sure too, because it doesn't impact other fishery, potential fisheries.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what happens in Green Bay. Everyone ends up getting hooked on cables and whatever.
Right. Okay, so we have a resolution there, a seconder.
A second.
Seconded by Director Newkirk. Any further discussion? All in favor? Great. Okay.
Maybe we need to go back a little bit more.
Okay.
Because of that line that's there, maybe we can include the health sector as well, because that's going to be in their territory. I know it's going to be disputed, so we need to put the health sec as well as the Kitasoo Hey.
Okay, so Ms. Harding, just for so that we do procedurally, do we need like a second resolution, or can we amend that resolution after it's been voted on? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
A second resolution, please.
Okay, so we've got a second resolution that the Health Sig Nation also be consulted on this referral. Right, Director Emery? Yep.
Yeah.
Moved by Director Emery, seconded by Director Newkirk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thanks, guys. Good thinking. Director Emery. Okay. Next thing, we've got Bella Coola Valley zoning amendment, right? Yeah. Amendment number 533.01, 2026. So, bylaws and policies. The amendment will bring the current bylaw into compliance with provincial legislation. It sounds like this is a bit of a obligation that we have and a bit of a housekeeping thing. Mr. Slingerland, would you like to speak to that?
I know what he's going to say. He's going to say it's housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Well, this isn't our housekeeping. This is the province reached out and said, hey, can you submit all your paperwork for these changes? And we went by to make sure that we were in compliance. And there is an area where we have got a little tiny gap. So it's not necessarily our housekeeping, but it is a change. The change is exceptionally minor. So if you go through, it's really just making sure that we are completely aligned with some of the changing legislation regarding housing, some of those housing amendments. We did a lot of this last year, moving the whole zoning bylaw into compliance and putting in place some of their housing requirements. So it's really this amendment, if you go to the bylaws and attachment, it really is just adding a definition of single-family dwelling that includes secondary suites were permitted, and that aligns with the provincial changes. So it's pretty minor in nature. It just aligns us to the provincial regulations. So it's pretty straightforward. There's not a huge change there. It's just they require that change, and it's in front of you now.
Nothing sneaky. Okay, so I'm looking for the resolution, the Bella Coola Valley zoning amendment bylaw number 533.01 2026 be read a first, second, and third time, and the Bella Coola Valley zoning amendment bylaw number 533.01 2026 be adopted.
Yep.
Yep, moved by Director Northeast, seconded by Director Newkirk. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you very much, everybody. Next, we have a Central Coast Regional District Electoral Area A Civic Addressing Service Establishment Bylaw. It's coming forward for adoption. Questions, comments? Where are we at with this one? Gotta catch up. Sorry, I'm a little slow here.
No worries. If you have any questions, our corporate officer is prepared to take them.
Okay. Any
We also
questions?
have Melanie is online as well.
Okay.
I guess the only question I have is at some point in the process with this, are we going to be able to have input?
So I will, direct that question to whoever wants to answer it. Hello, Ms. Helmer. Good morning. Is it still morning?
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
I guess, thank you, Chair. Through the chair, I'm just wondering what type of input would be desired.
There's been talk that renaming some of the roads.
Yeah, so the roads themselves are not under the control of the regional district. There was a conversation between us and the association on Denny Island that if there was a desire for changing the names of the roads, that they could reach out to the CCRD if there were letters of support needed or any type of support. But that would be a provincial decision if the roads were to be renamed, because it's under provincial control. And so the CCRD, the numbers could be issued by the CCRD, but the road names themselves wouldn't be under the control of the CCRD.
That's where we're going to run into a little bit of a problem, because there's some of the roads don't have names to begin with, and they're not gazetted roads, but they should be gazetted roads. So that's where we're going to have to try to figure out, work with the MOTT to come up with either names for the roads that aren't named, if we're following, or else we're not going to be able to have. And same with the houses that are going to be on Hunter Island. They'll have to have some kind of a road name associated with those houses.
Yeah, so if there's an existing resource road name, that would be used. And if there's no existing road, I think it's something we'll work through with the engineers, because the engineers had a plan in mind as to how they were going to proceed with issuing those civic addresses for those properties. A lot of them are waterfront, and if they're waterfront, they'd get a waterfront property civic address. If they have a road, then we'll have to see from there with the engineers what that would look like. But certainly if there's sort of a Y in the road where it's not clearly delineated, then that's something that could be brought back to the board for further consideration as the civic address issuance process with the engineers begins to go forward.
Yeah, so it's mainly just Denny Island that's the issue. Ocean Falls already has road names and all that. So it's just us. So we just need to find a way to move forward to have some community input to change those names. So you're saying that the Chamber of Commerce should write a letter to the CCRD to request assistance in changing names.
No, it would actually be the province that would be responsible. If there's a desire to change an existing road name to a different road name, it's under control of the province. So they would have to write a letter to the province, and they could copy the CCRD or reach out for a letter of support from the CCRD. But I think there would also need to be some First Nations engagement to make sure that the entire community's views are incorporated into any proposed change before the ministry would do that. And they are also very slow. They said it would take them a couple years to look at changing road names.
So yeah. So what you're saying then is, well, it needs to happen before we assign numbers to the houses, because there's a couple roads that need to be cut up a little bit to better match where they're actually going. And like you say, the houses that don't have a road name, that to begin with, we're going to have to come up with a name for those ones.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a conversation with the engineers. What they were going to do was overlay a great big grid over all of electoral area A and use that for determining what civic addresses would be. So if a road name changed from A to B, the civic address number would still remain the same, but their road name would change. So that's something I think if the bylaw is adopted, that then we're going to have the commencement of the project piece with the engineers, and we're going to dig into some of those pieces. So we could certainly have some more dialogue around what that looks like. We've got a piece in there for consultation and collaboration to make sure that we incorporate those pieces.
Because the other part is also down in Shearwater, which is a private road. They want to use Shearwater Road as their name that it's within the property, but it's also a name that's off the property. So that's where things need to be kind of delineated and figured out what names should be going where.
Yeah. And there'll be a process in there as well that if there's more than one address, like if there's units within a private property, there'll be a way of how that gets handled as well.
So hopefully we can address that coming up. So I guess we need to figure out what the steps are that we need to be following to update those names. And you're saying it's the province, so we need to figure out, wrote down that this is the steps we need to do to change these names and make them more relevant to today's time.
Yeah, okay. So the conversation that we had with the province so far was that the people who would like to have it changed submit a request to the province for the road change from A to B. So what stretch of road is changing? What is it changing from? And what is it changing to? And the reasons for the change. And then the province would then provide further information on what they require. They said generally what they require is they want to know why the change is being made. They want to know whether the community is supportive of that change. And they want to know whether First Nations are also supportive of that change.
So I guess what we need to do is we need to find out that contact that's in MOTT, I assume, to be able to make this change.
Yes, we do have that contact information, and it's been provided as well to the association contact.
Oh, they never mentioned anything about that. I'll
Yeah,
have to
but-
ask them.
Yeah, when I was dealing with the chamber, I did provide that introduction.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we've got a resolution, a suggested resolution that the Central Coast Regional District Electoral Area A Civic Addressing Service Establishment Bylaw number 555, 2025 be adopted. Moved by Director Emery and a seconder. Seconded by Director Newkirk. Further discussion here? All in favor? All right, great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ms. Helmer, for the report and the discussion. Next is the budget engagement policy review. So it's back before us post-budget. So how are we feeling about the policy? Do we have questions, comments, changes we want to make? We have come a long way in this policy over the years, and I feel like we hit a sweet spot, but I could be wrong. So we're up for discussion from the board as far as comment. Thoughts, changes? How did everything go? If there are no changes to be made, then we move on, I'm assuming. Okay, great. Okay, so yes, I have been busy, and I've submitted a few notices of motion. A lot of these are like to begin the discussion and to get more information. Basically, I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel on this. I don't think we want to be the first regional district to ever have a policy surrounding AI. I think that there are policies that exist. My concern is records management, confidentiality, where our information is being stored. I think AI is and it can be an incredible tools. But yeah, there's just the safety piece. So I would like to direct staff to prepare a draft artificial intelligence governance and use policy for the CCRD. I have a few things that I've listed there, and that is up for discussion. I can read them. I'll read them out loud. Protection of personal, confidential, and operational information, secure storage and handling of data used within AI platforms, cybersecurity and third-party data sharing risks, acceptable and prohibited uses of AI tools by elected officials, staff, and contractors, transparency and disclosure regarding the use of AI-generated content in public communications and reports where appropriate, records management and retention considerations, procedures for reviewing and approving AI platforms and software, training and education regarding responsible AI use, and ongoing oversight and review of emerging technologies and risks. So yeah, I'm just wondering what everybody else is doing and if we should be doing it too. Comments or questions?
Yeah, just that, I don't think you need to do a deep dive. I'm sure there's lots of regional districts that have stuff in place, so I don't think it'll be an onerous task for our staff to put together a recommendation for us to approve. But no, it's good that we deal with this. We get something in place before it becomes an issue when somebody oversteps or say is a little careless. So I support the motion as the motion as presented.
Okay, thank you. Other comments or questions? Anything? Good. Director Hall or Director Emery, anything you want to add? Okay, so I move the motion as presented. Director Northeast, are you okay with seconding?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you very much. And any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. The next one is the cannabis retail conversation. So this is another, direct staff to prepare a report outlining the current zoning and regulatory framework for cannabis retail stores within the CCRD, the existing application and approval process for prospective cannabis retailers, any limitations or barriers created by the current zoning approach, including site-specific zoning requirements, options for establishing a clearer and more accessible framework for cannabis retail applications within the region, and next steps and estimated timelines should the board wish to amend the zoning bylaw. So I'm not asking for amendments necessarily, but just some clarity as to what the steps would be. I've had a couple residents ask about what the steps are, and I couldn't really answer them. Mr. Slingerland was very helpful in pointing me in the right direction and giving me information. But I think for it is a really onerous process for residents who might be interested in that. So anyways, I brought it before the board for discussion. So if anybody has questions, comments, anything about the process of outlining the process.
Okay, so if I remember a conversation I had with our CAO around this topic, and very broadly, we actually can't stop a legitimate, my understanding is we can't actually stop a legitimate business from going forward in our jurisdiction. I mean, as long as it's legal, as long as it meets whatever statutory requirements there are, these are decisions that will be made above us. Curtis, is that about right?
There's some nuance in regards to using site-specific zoning to limit certain businesses. And I think where Chair Kennedy's approach is, we'll come back with all of that flushed out. So you guys will be in a really good position to have a future conversation around all of those nuances, the details of that. And if you want to take action, what that looks like. And if you don't want to take action, what does that look like? So it's just a pathway, an illuminated pathway sort of thing. So I wouldn't want to go too deep into it because there's a fair amount of detail there, and I'd like to bring in a planner to do that.
Yeah.
And Vancouver Coastal Health has expressed interest in commenting.
Okay, great. Okay.
Good. Okay. Yeah, and that's I think that's that wisdom. The cynical side of me says, well, maybe, before it becomes an issue, let's have this discussion and set forth sort of, you talked about like restricted zoning. I mean, lots of jurisdictions have, for what it's worth, it can't be within this many meters of a school and things like that. So I think I'm going to support the motion because I really believe we should have this discussion before we're doing battle with somebody about, this particular issue. So thanks for answering my question.
Great. Any other comments? No. So yeah, I would like to move this resolution, and I'm looking for a seconder. Seconded by Director Newkirk. All in favor?
Yep.
Great. Any opposed? Hearing none. Okay, next is the digital infrastructure. I was really very busy this particular day, you guys. The digital infrastructure. I was probably supposed to be doing something else. That was probably why I got so much work done that day. So this one is all about data centers, and my proposed resolution is the CCRD board directs staff to review and report on potential policy considerations related to the development and operation of data centers and large-scale digital infrastructure within the Central Coast Regional District, and review And that review include the consideration of impacts on local electrical and utility infrastructure, energy consumption and sustainability considerations, water use and environmental impacts, emergency management, resilience and cybersecurity considerations, land use and zoning implications, potential economic development and employment opportunities, impacts on rural and remote communities, data sovereignty and public interest considerations, consultation requirements with Indigenous Nations Hydro, BC Hydro, provincial agencies and local stakeholders, and the staff report back to the board with information and recommendations for future consideration. That is a possibility. The other possibility is, yeah, what are other regional districts doing here? Like, I don't want this to take 15 hours of staff time. I'm just thinking that it should be something that's on our radar, because they can be really environmentally destructive. And we live in a little bit of paradise here. So I just wanted to have it on our radar so that we are able to move forward kind of with our eyes open and yeah, to have a policy around it to start. So open to questions or comments or changes to the proposed resolution.
I may jump in.
Yes, absolutely.
From a staff perspective, your list is quite extensive.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So if you ask for that, you're going to get that.
Get it? Okay.
And so what we can do in a maybe a bit more initially cost effective way, right? Because if you ask for the full buffet,
yeah, you're gonna get it.
You're gonna get the full buffet.
Why is it so much information?
We can bring forward a report, knowing that this is maybe not a one-time dialogue. And then the board can, like, an overview report of what's going on, the considerations, the broad strokes. And then if the board goes, hey, I want more information in this area, then you can give us that direction. We'll get that information and return to you as a bit of a longer form discussion at the board table around data centers in the Central Coast.
Yeah, I would be interested even in changing it to that we look at what are other people doing as far as policy goes, because we do live in a unique place, but when it comes to environmental impacts, I don't think we are the only ones that would suffer those impacts. So maybe this already exists. Maybe the resolution instead be the Central Coast Regional Board directs staff to review and report on potential policy considerations related to the development and operation of data centers and large-scale digital infrastructure within the CCRD, and report back to the board with information and recommendations that other regional districts are doing, or something like that, and cut the whole middle bit out. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. The hydro thing could be a really interesting part of it all too. The impacts on local electrical and utility infrastructure due to the fact that we run primarily off of diesel in the winter. That might be something that is a major constraint for any type of company that might want to do that to begin with, because we're pretty tapped out.
Yeah,
as it is.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of these big data centers have their own off the grid power, whether it be hydrogen or whatever other. I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
but yeah, they may not be part of our grid, or that's, I think it is a huge concern considering the environmental impacts and our unique circumstances. Anyways, go ahead, Director Northeast.
Thank you. So I have three concerns, and they're kind of broad, but I think there's a common theme. First of all, there is, for lack of a better term, a social economic impact of this, and I'll give you two other businesses that are often trotted out as a solution to economic development. They are casinos and call centers, and I've had enough experience with both of them to know that sometimes there is an impact, a positive impact in the short term, but in the long term, not so much. I put AI call centers, especially AI centers, especially in small rural communities, in that same category is they can look good on paper, and then the social impact comes. And you have to stop and ask yourself, and I'm a dyed-in-the-wool capitalist, but here we go. Why does a center want to develop, or why does one want to develop in a small place like the Bella Coola Valley? Land is dirt cheap. Regional districts are known for bending over backwards to attract jobs. So that has to be weighed into it. So as far as I'm concerned, taking Mr. Slingerland's advice, let's not, go crazy, take up a whole bunch of time and staff, but that's something that really needs to be parked in the back of our brain. Director Newkirk mentioned the impact on our electrical grid. That has to be considered. It's, electricity doesn't grow on trees, and so it's got to come from somewhere. It'd be nice to think that, they would pay their fair share and we'd all get lower electrical bills. My experience tells me not. But the most important reason of all, as far as I'm concerned, and Director Kennedy, you mentioned it, it is the environmental impact. These centers require huge amounts of water to cool. My understanding is for cooling and maintaining their systems and that. Now that I'm not as certain about, but that's what I'm understood. So the first 2 points being considered as sort of, well, let's take a look at this. What I want to know moving forward is what are the, for lack of a better term, proven environmental studies that can say, or the environmental studies that can say, if you have one of these centers, this is what you can expect on your waterways, your river systems, your, water table, all that sort of stuff. Other than that, to me, that is the primary thing of all. And so to have a discussion about what we may or may not do around, creating something like this or limiting something like that, first out of the gate for me is the environment. And I'm sure for many of our constituents, that will be the main concern is what, and again, we don't want to talk about, would be's, could be's, this might be the case. A dive into the studies that have been made and let us look at some actual concrete evidence. So that's me.
Okay. So in terms of like a resolution, as far as like, this is a bit of a direct staff to review and report, blah, blah, blah. So would we still start with the beginning of the resolution? And do you want to add, like, we get to say, and that the review include consideration of, and then Director Northeast, the piece about environmental impacts, or do we, what do we want to include in this resolution here? Like I would be satisfied with what are other people doing right now, and I can see if I can find that out on my call with the chairs that's coming up, and see if there's other policies that have been brought forward in other regional districts or municipalities, and then see if we can take what we want and leave the rest, or whatever or even our power would be with that. Director Northeast.
Yeah, I could support that, but I don't want to lose sight of that last point. Could we also direct staff to do a dive into, might want to use AI for this, by the way, just saying, but
Just
do
saying.
do a search and see what studies have been conducted and published on this matter. Because I'd like to look at both of them side by side, what other people are doing and what the data is right now.
Okay. So a resolution would be that the CCRD board directs staff to review and report on potential policy considerations related to the development and operation of data centers and large scale digital infrastructure within the Central Coast Regional District. And that staff, okay, and okay, so Ms. Harding.
Are we doing the
where we're at with the resolution?
Okay, hold on. I'm just shifting things around here.
Yeah, you bet. Sorry. Thank you. Like,
Oop.
like what are other people doing and for studies of environmental impacts like that have been conducted?
I have, so the first blurb, that the Central Coast Regional District Board directs staff to review and report on potential policy considerations related to the development and operation of data centers and large-scale digital infrastructure within the Central Coast Regional District, and that environmental impact studies be included, and further that the report include any policy examples that may be available from other regional districts.
Oh yeah, she's so good. You're so good. Thank you. That's perfect. Wow. Okay. So I will move that, and I'm looking for a seconder. Seconded by Director
Second.
Northeast. Further
Yeah.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Okay. My last one is a human bear conflict. This is a bit of a cart before the horse sort of situation because we kind of talked about it as well with the UBCM piece. I just after our conversation with the minister, I was really thinking, we brought up the WildSafe funding and other funding, and she asked a question that was something along the lines of, well, how much money do you need? And I thought it would be a good conversation to have of like, what are the tangible things we should be asking for and making sure we're on the same page with it. So, so what have I got here with that? The Central Coast Regional District Board directs staff to work collaboratively to develop coordinated recommendations and advocacy priorities related to human bear conflict reduction and public safety in the Belcoville Valley, and that the board identify provincial support and funding needs. So, yeah, this was before the UBCM minister meeting. But I just, I think I want to have a conversation about what we want to ask for, because I think that the province is kind of ready to hear us. And we have a crisis, we've had a crisis situation. So where do we want to go as a, association on that piece in our advocacy? Director Hall?
I just think it should include the region.
Sure.
There's more bears in Bella now. There was that attack in Rivers a number of years back. Yeah, I think it would be more supported if we worked together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you, Director Hall.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Director Northeast.
Hi, thanks again. My thoughts are in consultation with the Indigenous nations that we share the valley and coast with. I think we should be pushing for an increase in the Bear Aware program, especially around staffing and consultation. There should be a way for the 3 or 4 groups to come together and have a conversation. There's a lot of talk right now has been motivated by the attack, which, news cycles go, it gets further and further down our memory and people go, oh yeah, it was a one-time thing. But my understanding from way down here in Belize is that the corridor between 4 Mile and downtown has become a bear highway, or maybe it's the highway that's becoming a bear corridor. I don't know. But there's more and more concern about that area there. So much so that actually Newhawk Nation and NALS decided to not participate in the Bike to School campaign for concern for people's safety. So I don't know if this is just again an isolated thing, but it seems like there's an uptick, in what's the word, when they come in contact with each other. So I don't think this should just be about not putting out attractants. There needs to be something more coordinated and more direct to deal with human bear interactions, other than just, putting away things so that the bears don't come around. That's just my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thoughts, do you want to add anything?
No.
Okay, so the proposed resolution is direct staff to work collaboratively to develop coordinated recommendations and advocacy priorities related and the board identify provincial supporting needs, but not allowed. So kind of looking for suggestions for like what we want to ask for. I do agree that the solutions should be like in consultation with our partners and that we should be having those conversations. But I guess I'm kind of looking for like, these are some of the things that are like the point form there. And how much do they cost and how much do we want to ask for? So that when the minister says, how much do you want? We're not sitting there being like, and then someone says a number and it's way too low, try add a zero, so it kind of came from like making sure that we're all on the same page with what our asks should be, but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, my comments were not in opposition to your
No.
At any level. I think this is a starting place. Again, the clock is running out and I only have so much time.
I know. I know, me too. Me too. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. So what do we want to do anything with this, or are we happy with where we're at with minister meeting requests, or do we want to change it to something like direct staff to work collaboratively to develop coordinated recommendations, and then like to reduce human bear conflict like with a price tag, like how much would we need to make these efforts effective?
Well, what do we have right now as far as the position was restored, right? Or
it was my concern is that it's not paid very well and that it's not permanent funding, and that it's just not enough, but I feel like a $25 an hour position is great for somebody who's like, getting out of university and they're looking, to get the next, to the next step. But I don't think it's going to attract necessarily an experienced, knowledgeable person with the skills that I think a wildlife officer needs, like conflict resolution, like how to educate the public in a way that isn't preachy, like the skills that you would need to do that job. So that's my concern about it. But we asked for the wild safe to be reinstituted and that has happened. So it's like, but not like that. I want it this other way. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on what we're asking for.
Yeah, it's not full time, is it?
I don't know. I should pull the ad up because the only reason is like I subscribe to those types of ads. And so I got an email that was from Indeed. So that's the only reason that I know about it.
Yeah, and I'm not convinced. I think we could demonstrate the need for a full-time position all year, ongoing funding. Again, just off the top of my head, we had an attack last year on a school group. We've had social events, the bike thing canceled for half the valley. I can't speak to Sam's or the other schools, but I know that Axelsta has limited wisely their outings into the forest because of concerns about bears and all that. So again, this is why I keep coming back to the idea that we need not just somebody to go along and have educational chats with people and all that. I mean, that's all good, but I think we need something more direct, which makes me wonder, maybe we need to bark up another tree, and that's the federal government, because it seems to me that this is I mean, we don't want to bring in some, you know, a bunch of guys to eradicate bears, because again, that's not sustainable at any level. So, coordinated approach between the regional district, the province, and the Indigenous nations through federal funding. But we'd have to ask the staff to see if there's anything available that way, and I'm reluctant to do that right now. So I say carry on with what we have here, but let's be open to opportunities that we can have. I think it's filtering through the community right now that this problem wasn't just a one-off, and it's likely to happen again. And so it is impacting recreational opportunities, cultural opportunities, educational opportunities. That sounds like something the feds and the provinces should be on board with. The province.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it should wait until the UBCM either, because I think it's already starting. Our bear season is starting to happen already. And, you know, directing staff to work with the nations and lobby the government to help mitigate human bear conflict and to help with funding waste management initiatives such as bear-proof dumpsters could be like a really good start. I was just out in Bella Bella, and I noticed that on every corner there's a bear-proof dumpster.
Oh, wow.
They're actually somewhat human-proof as well. I had a super hard time getting into them. But it could be a really good start to ask the feds and the province for potential funding for something like that. And, you know, that could also trickle down to maybe helping out with, you know, cleanup initiatives and funding that as well.
Perfect. Yeah. So I pulled up the ad just for everybody's info. It's $28 an hour. I stand corrected, but the contract is 400 hours with possibility of more hours depending on funding, immediate to November 28th. So anyways, that is online, but yeah, 400 hours doesn't really, it's not really full time. It's just a contract. So anyways, that is not $25 an hour, but okay, resolutions. We're doing so well. We're a great team. I have one change, which is the region, not just the Bella Coola Valley, and that that makes perfect sense. So it sounds like we are looking for information on solutions to this kind of systemic problem of wildlife conflict, not just, you know, the symptomatic problem. So are we looking for, like price tags on effective ideas for solutions so that they come back to the board again? Or are we just wanting to like start writing letters? What are we thinking? So one possibility would be like that we, direct staff to come back to the board with possible solutions and costs related to human bear conflict reduction and public safety in the Bella Coola Valley, and with avenues that we should go down, like which ministers we should be and or federal agencies we should be targeting. Is that kind of where we're at?
No.
No?
Where's the funding for that WildSafe come from? The coordinator? Is it a province thing?
Yeah.
My gut would be that it was the province funded WildSafe BC and gave them some money.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. They probably, because they were doing that role consistently for a long time. Like when you search for that role, you find it that it was posted in 2020, 2024. So I feel like there's an established grant and funding pathway between them and the province.
It's British Columbia Conservation Foundation is who's posted the ad.
Is there a local group, if I'm sorry to jump in here, but is there a local group that used to do this? Because I remember, I think, talking about that there was a group that really cared about this, and they kind of have disbanded or
I think
away.
the Coola Valley Tourism used to kind of help spearhead some of it
Mhm.
with the electric fencing side of things.
Yeah, so that has come up in
I
conversation.
forget exactly, but I do recall something about that.
Yeah.
I know that there hasn't been a wild safe person for a little bit.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it came up in conversations that there, and yeah, you're right. And I think it was like from Bella Coola Tourism, kind of an offshoot. And there was some concern in the community about like political issues, like with the Grizzly Bear Foundation maybe was like funding some electric fence stuff, but then the representative for that company was like quite politically active, and there was some, anyways. Yeah, I don't know exactly the history, but I've heard from some residents that there was some challenges that way, but anyways.
If you're not ready to do anything, you could hunt it to staff to come forward with like different avenues, and we could kind of flush out a starting point of this.
Sounds good.
And that might at least give you a foundation to make this decision. If you're struggling with it, we could kind of just, again, if nothing, it's like the step before the step, but at least map it out a bit for you if you find that helpful.
Does that sound good to everyone?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yes.
And Ms. Harding, does that sound good as far as like resolutions go, what Mr. Slingerland just kind of outlined?
Hold on, let me just check this one bit here. I have that the Central Coast Regional District Board directs staff to work collaboratively to develop coordinated recommendations and advocacy priorities related to human bear conflict reduction and public safety in the region, and that staff return to the board with possible solutions and costs related to the human bear conflict in the region, and identify which provincial and federal agencies to lobby.
So that's not where I was going. So I was going that staff return to the board with mapping out the different approaches that the board could take. Just mapping out your different avenues, and then you can kind of choose where you want to go.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds, and then we can go from there. Board? Okay, so I will move that resolution to direct staff to map out the different avenues that we could take moving forward. And someone can second it, or we could, or not, and then we could have a different resolution and see how that goes. So I move that the CCRD directs staff to map out the different avenues that we could take moving forward on this issue. And I'm going to kind of leave it at that. And if anyone wants to second that, great, and then we can discuss it. If not, it dies on the floor. Okay. So that resolution, I did not get a seconder. So we're open for other resolutions, or we could defer this to next meeting, or we could just leave it for now. And I
don't want to defer it till the next meeting because it's a topic that I think we gotta get on right away.
Yeah.
Like right away. With the nation saying that they want to participate in Bike to School Week, and myself personally being a bit scared of the situation between 4 Mile and Town Site being unsafe due to bears, so much so that the kids are needing RCMP and conservation escorts to ride their bikes. It's a pretty serious situation. And leaving it for too long is, in my opinion, not a great idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So I was ready to second your motion, but I think we want to be, even faster on this than next meeting.
Okay.
I don't know how we can expedite things. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. If I may, just searching for solutions. You can chew gum and walk. So you could direct staff to, or have the board send a letter to various ministers, just putting it on the radar saying to increase funding and increase awareness. So you can kind of send that off. And then as for local solutions, You could try to you could invite partners for a discussion, like whether it be BCH or some of the, people in the, conservation to maybe come to the board and have a dialogue about what their plans are. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah,
because there's a bit of a two-step dance though. Like if you're looking for straight numbers, some of the collaborative parts could take months. If we're involving the nation, it might be something where they pick up the phone and we're great with, or it might be, 2 months later, we're coming back going, it's gone well, or here's where we're at, or, it hasn't gone well, who knows? But if you're looking for costs to bring up to the minister, it may not be specifically costs. It may be like, here's some programs that we've heard worked really well. And we kind of dump that on them and their staff of like this, I'm gonna pick on the electric fence thing. That electric fence thing has come up a few times. It's like, that was a really good program. We'd like to see more of that.
Mhm.
And we let them figure out and run down what the costs were and fund it, or, that Wild Safe program going, hey, that was really great. Thank you for funding it for this year. Can you fund it for next year? Can you fund it permanently, or commit to 5 years of funding? Like finding some really tangible things you can ask of them.
yeah. Like could potentially we get federal help to commit to funding to these cleanup initiatives, right?
Right.
Would be a nice one too.
Mhm.
So the nation has asked us not to ever contact their counterparts on their behalf. So I just want to flag we've been specifically told to not go over their head.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. I just mean maybe collaborate with.
Mhm. Nope. The board could direct us to write a letter in collaboration with them if they're interested, and invite them to send a joint letter to federal and provincial agencies and ministers in support of this initiative.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be like kind of through staff, or like
We would draft it, but it would come from the chair of the CCRD
yeah.
and then the chief. So we would notify their CAO and their chief that CCRD would like to participate in a joint letter and invite them to join our letter.
Okay, I like that. And yeah, kind of start the conversation about what advocacy we can do that would be good, like work for them without, overstepping or whatever. Collaborate.
Yeah, that works for the whole valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And region.
region. Yeah, not to forget about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as resolutions go, how are we at a place where we're ready to make a resolution? So it was the CCRD board direct staff to collaborate with the New Hope Nation to engage the province and federal counterparts. Like,
okay. I think it would be that, and I'll just check in with our corporate officer in a second. That the board send a joint letter in support with the New Hope Nation to the MP and MLA.
okay.
In regards to increased funding and support to address human bear conflict in the region.
That sounds good.
Would you like to make that motion?
I would make that motion.
Moved by Director Newkirk, and a seconder?
Yep.
Yeah, the Director
and
Northeast.
Do we need to check in with Philip? Yeah.
She seems good. Are we good, Ms. Harding?
Sure, it's recorded.
Okay, great, perfect. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Yeah, okay. Excellent. So we just have correspondence and then our in-camera portion. I'm thinking we should push through this part and then take a break before the in-camera. Okay. So as far as correspondence goes, the way I'm going to do it is ask if there's anything that we would like to discuss in this section. And then we'll pull out the ones that we would like to discuss and then discuss them in order, like numerical order, I guess. I would like to pull out the Ice Rink Association piece and discuss that. Do other board members have items they would like to pull out of correspondence to discuss? No. Okay. So we did get some visuals from the Ice Rink Association, and I had a really great meeting with one of their members, Alex Brandt, about what the vision is. And I found that really helped me to wrap my brain around what the ask is. So for this group, what I would like to do is I would like to move to connect them with our economic development officer to so that they are able to, you know, access grant funding. And I would like to invite them to have a delegation with us for our July meeting, which is the meeting that will take place at the end of July, not the Ocean Falls meeting, is what I'm thinking. Are the pictures in there? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, they are. Okay, great. So that really helped. Yes. So that really helped me to get an idea of what the system was. I was really like off what the concept was. So the visuals were really helpful. So they're looking to, you know, have a refrigerated sort of a system and an overhead shelter sort of, so that we can extend the season of our rink. And, you know, but they could go like up to 10 degrees Celsius. So did you want to add anything? I feel like
I know a little bit
Yeah.
about it because I do participate in playing hockey when we can get ice. Yeah, they're like little kits that you
Yeah.
can buy. And I think their idea was to approach the CCRD about the possibility, number one, of using that current ice rink space.
Mhm.
And they didn't know whether it was a lease that was held or who is kind of, you know, named responsible on that property, but potentially putting this kit that you can buy, and it can come in different sizes. So it could start small and potentially be bigger later and put it where the current ice rink is and hopefully cover it so they could increase ice skating for everybody who participates in it.
Yeah.
I think that's their idea. I'd let them do a proper
Yeah.
presentation, but that's my knowledge of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, I think to get that kind of visual. And, you know, I kind of used the example of the disc sports delegation and how successful that was. Like, I know whenever I don't want local government to step in and make this project a lot more expensive and like impossible. And so, but what I would like to do is for us to be able to work alongside this nonprofit so that we aren't getting in the way necessarily. And there's like some passionate people who are, able to do these applications and move forward that way. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Any comments or questions from the board?
Nope.
All right, so I would like to move to invite the Bella Coola ice rink people. What is their names? Ice rink
Association.
Yeah, to a delegation for the July meeting. That's at the end of July. And I would like to include in my resolution that we connect them with Ms. Bystad, our Economic Development Officer, so that they can talk about grants and access with CCRD as a bit of a conduit, not necessarily, you know, through us, but alongside. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm just looking for a seconder for that motion.
I'll second.
Moved by Director Newkirk and all in favor.
Aye.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. So yeah,
Sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Just, you asked us what we wanted to pull out, and I was sort of sleeping at the switch there. And I
Okay.
don't want to prolong this because I'm exhausted. So just 3 items here from New Hawk Nation. I'm not prepared for any sort of resolution or anything related to them. I see one regarding oil tanker resolution, one protesting our unconstitutional actions regarding the OCP, and another one on garbage fees and that. Is this in our court as directors to look at these and then decide if we want to bring something forward, or can I just say maybe at the next meeting we should discuss these 3 things and see what action we need to, if any? I'm really at a loss here right now. I'm not sure how, these look like important issues. I'm just not sure what to do about them.
Okay. Yes, these are like, we do have a recommended resolution from Chief Schooner, and we could also bring these back in camera, like if we want to, you know, like, because I think it is a challenging topic that involves Indigenous government, and I think that is a reason to speak about it in camera. But yeah, Ms. Harding, yes.
As far as taking an item into in camera,
Mhm.
the first letter, the OCP letter, we could take in camera. The
Mhm.
letter of support and the landfill fee waiver request, that's a tough one to justify to move in camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the letter of requesting a letter of support, the tanker moratorium. Let's just take a moment. And refresh our memories on the proposed resolution. So yeah, anyways, okay, go ahead. I'm gonna give you guys some time.
Thank you.
Philippa, if I may ask you a question.
Yes.
What, just because I'm not up on some of my governance and all of this, would be difficult about bringing, or just how would it be hard to justify bringing all 3 of these in camera?
We are very limited to what we actually can take in camera. So we can do negotiations with First Nation. We could take in camera, but something that is a request for a support, like the document you're looking at right now, we cannot.
Is there any part of this resolution that we have an issue with?
You know, I don't. When I first saw it, I thought, yeah, that's a no-brainer, like no oil tankers, right? But it's more than that, because what we're also saying is, you know, no to a pipeline that the federal government and Alberta have already agreed is going to go right across BC. So not that I support that, but it does make the issue a little bit more complex. But having said that, I could put it forward as a motion and see what the rest of you think. I think we should support the resolution if the language aligns with, for lack of a better term, our procedures, our values, that sort of thing. And I don't see anything there that flags it otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a motion as presented in the letter here from Chief Schooner. I'm looking for a seconder. I'll second it. Discussion. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see, if there's nothing stopping us from that, I don't see an issue with it either.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. It carries. Okay, so we've got that one, check. This one.
Community
Targeted.
cleanup.
Yeah.
The community cleanup one. So our bylaw is,
If I may, I
Yes,
do
please.
have, we do
Yeah.
have our solid waste coordinator here, and same with our director of operations. So it wouldn't hurt to have them, as this will have an impact.
Yeah.
On landfill operations, having them speak to it.
okay.
Corlick, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Two things. So first of all, the cleanup that is happening, or the extra opening that's happening this week, was arranged following the Earth Day cleanup. They didn't get everything done during Earth Week with their funding, so we agreed through the bylaw for an extra opening. So that goes through the fee bylaw. So next Monday and Tuesday, we will have an extra opening to allow them to continue with some of the cleanup that they had from Earth Day. When so this is a huge amount of materials that they are wanting to bring to the landfill over the next 3-4 months. Just like a quick calculation on what they're saying, if it's $30,000, that is a rough estimate. Is the volume, or the tonnage is about 1/3 of our total tonnage in 2024. So they're talking about bringing a lot of volume in. So next Monday and Tuesday, I will be at the landfill working with our operators, just sort of keeping track of what's coming in, what's going forward, and could report back to the board on what's brought forward and how that works after we go forward with that.
Okay. Ms. Bien?
Thank you, through the chair. Also, one thing that flagged for the board, if board ever considering either waiving, provide a little discount on the tipping fees, it would be triggered to bring it back or amended our rates and charges bylaw. And I believe legislatively, if we do that, we must provide it opportunity to entire community for those states to either waive it or not. I don't think that we can only Philip probably speak to it. I think she knows better. Yeah. So we would have to amend the bylaw, yes, but we can do it for specific user groups. It's very similar to, say, the pool. We have one rate for adults and one rate for children. It's different user groups. They do need to have something that makes it specific. For example, community service, we could put this under, but we can provide a rate reduction for a particular user group for a particular service.
Nicola, could you say again how much, you said what, 1/3 of the
So
volume?
yeah, just in a quick calculation, I used the numbers that the ministry uses in converting volume to tonnage, and it came out to like close to 1/3 of our 2024 total tonnage that we reported in our plan to the ministry.
So would that decrease the lifespan, obviously, of the landfill by a half a year, a month?
It'll decrease it yeah, it'll decrease it by, probably. I mean, it's hard to know because we don't know what our volumes are. We've just had a survey done, so we'll have more information on that. I would imagine in the next month, we could probably provide more accurate information. It's a lot of volume though. And,
Yeah.
and it's the intent of what is it that they're bringing? Are they doing the cleanup or are they bringing all of their daily household garbage? That needs to be determined. If it's just their household garbage, then there's no charge for that anyways.
Yeah. So what if I'm assuming some of it's not household garbage? Does that go, who would decide where that goes? Should it be sorted, recyclable? Do we have the capacity for that, or does it all go into the landfill?
Yeah, no, it's sorted and they're doing a really good job of sorting. Right now they're actually sorting all their appliances, their major appliances out of the landfill, and they're actually storing it on reserve themselves, and they're going to have the recycling agencies come in and pick things up. So we have asked them to keep metals out, construction waste out before they deliver to the landfill. So as I said, Monday, Tuesday, we'll have a good understanding of what it is that they're doing and be able to report back on what materials came forward.
I would really love if, we could find another funding source. Like maybe the option isn't that the fees are waived or that they pay 30,000. Like maybe there's a way that there's another funding source. Like, and so maybe we can get back to them with that. I don't know. I'm so reluctant to agree because it's so important for the future of our community that this landfill exists as long as it can. And I am really struggling with this piece.
I'm also struggling with this piece.
Mhm.
In light of the recent bear incidents, it makes me more inclined to want to waive the fee myself personally, as a one-time cleanup effort, as long as everything's sorted and recycled as best as possible. That's my opinion on it.
Mhm. Yeah, a one-time deal, not like an annual.
Not as an annual, as a one-time deal, and this is in light of the recent bear incident and the fact that the bear incident issue is not over. It's starting again already right now, not in the fall, right now when bears are not supposed to be anywhere near houses.
Mhm.
And I'd like to see the valley in general cleaned up as best as possible to limit these issues, or we're gonna be on the news again.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know it's a lot. That's my 2 bits on it. But
And if this doesn't obfuscate the point, maybe we should be looking at some sort of matching situation. One of their staff looking for funding for the New Hawk Nation, because I understand their aspirations around sovereignty. They may not want to help us get money for something like this, but if they could get the money, be in control of it, and then we could meet that from our budget in the form of a waiver, that might be a way of honoring honoring the request, but also not setting a precedent. So you can ignore that because I'm basically leaning towards what Director Newkirk just said. Maybe we should, that stuff's going to end up in a landfill anyway, to be honest, right? At some point it will, whether it's paid for or not, it's going to take up space in the landfill. Maybe we could do this as a one-time clean up the community, and just hold our nose and go with it.
Literally. Miss Harding has her hand up.
So through the chair, I just need to remind the board that for even a one-time fee waiver, for lack of a better term, we do have to do a bylaw amendment.
Yeah, I get it.
Which in fairness, if I also might jump in, that we have one in the queue anyways.
Right.
For this particular bylaw. So what you'd see is we would notify the nation. The item will come back at the next meeting with the bylaw amendment. The board would pass that. So it wouldn't be something that they'd be able to initiate immediately, but it could be something they could initiate in July. Okay. About mid-July, if the board passes it at the next meeting.
Right. And so, yeah, okay. Ms. Corlett, go ahead.
So just a clarification on this, they're not asking for a one-time opening. It's, I think, like about 9 openings.
Yes, yeah.
Just a clarification on that.
Yeah, so I would say for the remainder of this project, if it's 9 openings, 9 openings. Not just a one-day thing.
Yeah.
I think it will take time to do the cleanup that's being attempted. But maybe like, next year, it doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking like, so this would be just for people living on reserve, or would it be like, like it's just really
That's the problem.
tough, right? Like just if you live on reserve, I don't, it's hard that like, because I'm sure there's a lot of other properties I know that have like a lot
Of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that aren't on reserve. And like, how many landfills do we have? One, like,
That's what makes it such a tough one.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm really having a hard time with it. And the fact that there was no consultation with, like, there was no conversation that took place. Like, this is a public notice that went out without talking to the operators of this service. Like, I really am struggling with it. And I can't imagine if the tables were turned, how this would go over. Like, it's been put us in a really tough position. Because I know that the call for like put out all your garbage and everything has been said, and there's at the curbside, there's like big piles right now because everybody's anticipating that this garbage is going, but that nobody's like got confirmation that we're taking it. So, yeah, really tricky situation.
Well, maybe the band can come up with the money. It's the band initiative, so shouldn't the band, we have and they know what the bylaws are. So why are we changing without changing it for everyone? It doesn't seem fair that, everyone else is paying their fair share but then all of a sudden now we have all this other garbage that we're expected to pay for as well. So that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Fair comment. Yeah.
If I may, there is an opening here in the sense of the end of the letter. Our preliminary estimate suggests disposal costs to be approximately $30,000. We recognize that this is a significant request, are open to discussions regarding scope, timelines, and other mechanisms that may help move this work forward in a way that is accountable to our shared constituency. So if the board, this delays things, but the board could direct staff to come forward with a bit of a work plan or two.
Mm-hmm.
With the nation, and then you've got something a bit more tangible. Like I'm trying to think of, the downside though is the next meeting is early July. We will need that time, so they wouldn't be able to do anything. At the earliest, it would be mid-July. It also could be mid-August.
Is there, sorry for interrupting you. Is there room for a special meeting like a special board meeting?
The board can establish a meeting whenever.
So potentially after staff had conversations with the nation about this, having a special board meeting to decide on just that one key point.
If the board would so desires, 2 directors would need to call it, or the chair has the authority to call it. So we could, if directed to, we could distribute the materials early, and then the board can decide whether they so wish to have a special meeting.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay. I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that's the best we can do at the moment.
Yeah, like, okay.
Well, it honors what they've said in the letter at the end, as our CAO pointed out, and it does create an opportunity to have a sit down and discuss, what we can do. So, I'm happy to make that motion, and I'll support a special meeting when we can.
Okay. Okay. Moved by Director Northeast and a seconder,
I'd second that.
seconded by Director Newkirk. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Great. So that we're,
One?
yeah, it's lunch. We're gonna take a quick lunch break. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick lunch break right now. It's like 10 to 1. So let's come back. What do we need? 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Is 40 minutes okay? Okay.
Do you
Yeah.
want to pass the motion into closed? I don't know if that's.
Oh, does that help?
I
Okay.
think you're done and then.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I get a motion to close the meeting for the purpose of consideration of items that fall under section 90, subsections 1, A, C, and K?
I'll make
Moved by
that.
Director Newkirk and seconded by Director Emery. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you everyone for attending. The public portion is now concluded.